That day after school, I met a god. The god asked me which I would choose. A perfect score of 750 on the college entrance exam, or 75 million. Is that even a choice? Hesitating for even a second would be disrespectful to the 75 million. With 75 million, who the hell would still take the college entrance exam? But I chose the 750 points. All because the day before the exam, I came across a post where the OP asked whether you'd choose 75 million in cash or a perfect score on the exam. I saw it was another one of those stupid questions, so I immediately got on my keyboard and started flaming them. All you guys do is ask people to choose. If I choose, are you going to give it to me? But unexpectedly, the op actually told me to try making a choice. I saw that and laughed. Is that even a choice? Nowadays, college graduates are a dime a dozen. 75 million can get me 10,000 college graduates to work for me. Unless I was guaranteed a perfect score on the exam. Being the top scorer wouldn't be bad either. The op instantly replied, as long as you choose. You're guaranteed a perfect score on the exam. Plus, you'll gain brand new problem-solving skills. But you can't tell anyone else, or the ability will disappear. Seeing how mysterious he was making it sound, I casually replied, if it's real. I choose the perfect score. If I can be the top scorer, all 18 generations of my ancestors would jump out of their graves to set off firecrackers for me. Then I tossed my phone aside and went to sleep. Until the next day, the proctor handed out the exam papers. I only took one look, and I immediately felt a shiver run through my body. The answers to these questions started frantically popping into my head. To be more precise, for those questions I originally didn't know how to do, now I just had to glance at them. And the perfect answer would appear directly in my mind. Then, I held my breath and realized that my handwriting, which was originally like a dog's scratching, now looked like it was written by a calligrapher. My pupils suddenly shrank. This must be for the penmanship score. Otherwise, even if I copied the standard answers word for word, they'd still symbolically deduct a point or two for presentation. So, I answered the questions as fast as I could, turned in my paper, and left the exam hall. To test this handwriting, I took out a pen and paper. I wrote the 3 words, I am so handsome. The handwriting was still unbeatable. Handwriting this good alone, I could become a pretty famous calligrapher. This discovery made me ecstatic. The Chinese language exam alone gave me such an awesome skill. What's 75 million compared to that? During the math exam in the afternoon, my performance was godlike again. For every problem, hundreds of solutions instantly appeared in my mind. There were even many solutions that were beyond my comprehension, methods that didn't even exist on Planet Blue. After the math exam ended, the exam hall was filled with wails of despair. Oh my god, that last question. I just looked it up. That was an advanced mathematics problem. This year's exam committee must be a bunch of sadists. In the following exams, I continued to breeze through everything. A ton of world-changing skills appeared in my mind. When I was the first to rush out of the exam hall, the students nearby were all stunned. That kid must have turned in a blank paper. But I paid no attention to these rumors, leaving only a profound and mysterious silhouette for the exam hall to remember. 2 days later, thousands of excellent teachers sat in front of their computers, grading the papers at high speed. Chen Chu, the head of the Southwest grading team, patrolled back and forth. He repeatedly stressed that there couldn't be a single mistake in grading, because one mistake could affect a child's entire life. Not long after he said that, a grading teacher suddenly stood up. Chen Chu immediately barked, "What are you doing, model? Don't you know how to keep quiet?" Sha Chushui, who is in charge of grading, says with a shocked expression, "Team leader Chen, you need to come look at this. I think this is a perfect score essay." Everyone is instantly stunned. The literature section? This is crazy. It has only just started. And there is already a perfect score? Chen Chu leans in, studying the computer screen with intense focus. With just a single glance, his expression completely shifts. This handwriting, it is absolutely exquisite. Even if the content was a total piece of crap, I would give him 20 points just for the calligraphy alone. But as he reads the actual content, Chen Chu feels goosebumps breaking out all over his body. This student used barely 1,000 words to perfectly capture the entire glory, shame, rise, and fall of China. He suddenly shouts at the top of his lungs, "Report this. Report it to the higher-ups immediately. Maybe, just maybe, this year's first perfect score essay is going to come from our department." A few days later, the math grading begins. Suddenly, a teacher cries out in shock, "There is something wrong with this paper. All the answers are correct, but I cannot understand a single thing about the logic used to solve them." This same scene repeats across several other subjects. It isn't until the final scores are officially released. I really did it. A perfect score. #1 in the entire country. My classmates are literally kneeling and howling at the sky. God must be blind. A slacker like him who never even studied. Turns out to be a hidden genius who was secretly grinding this whole time. But even more shocked than my classmates are the professors on the grading review board. They simply cannot wrap their heads around it. Just how on earth did I solve those math problems? The entire world has never seen logic like that before. In an instant, big shots from every field are whipping out their phones, desperate to get ahead of other universities. Just to hand deliver an admission letter to me. My parents are even more blown away. Honey, look, did you see the news? A graduate named Lu Chuan got a perfect score on the exams. He has the exact same name as our son. Hearing that from my room, I wobble out of the bedroom, leaning against the door. Is there a chance, just a slight chance, that this Lu Chuan is actually me? When I pull out my phone to check the results, that score of 750 points practically blinds them. Dad just stands there, frozen for a long time. Then he suddenly bolts for the door. I am going to the cemetery to see if our ancestral graves just exploded from good luck. I quickly stop the two of them and drop a bombshell. I do not actually plan on going to university yet. Because I want to provoke the exam board, to challenge them to make the questions even harder next time. Then, I will publicly announce that I am taking the exams again next year. To anyone else, the college entrance exam is just a ticket to a university. But to me, these exams are a way to upgrade myself. As long as I sit for one exam, I can gain all the scientific knowledge related to those questions, becoming a world-class mathematician or physicist instantly. I vaguely remember those shameless countries that tried everything to suppress our nation's rise. All those technical blockades they used against us, if I can just get those block technologies to appear on a college entrance exam paper, wouldn't all our problems be solved in a heartbeat? Of course, I cannot tell a soul about any of this. After promising my parents I would definitely go to college next year, they finally, reluctantly, agree to my crazy plan. The very next day, a massive swarm of reporters descends on our home, wanting to dig up every little detail about my life. Arriving with them are the top officials from the most prestigious universities in the country. They start bickering and sniping at each other before they are even through the door, fighting over who gets me. When the three of us try to step outside, we are completely overwhelmed by the massive, dark sea of people at our doorstep. The university officials rush forward like a pack of wolves, surrounding my parents. They start throwing out conditions that are honestly hard to even imagine. Some offer to waive all tuition fees, plus local residency and huge housing subsidies. Others offer a monthly living allowance of 30,000 yuan. Sha Chushui does not want to lose either. She steps up and declares she will authorize an independent lab just for me. 300,000 in research funding every year, and it doesn't matter whether I attend their Southwest College or not. The money is guaranteed. The moment those words were out, the people from the Wu and Shuntong universities panicked. That old geezer is playing dirty, isn't he? We only offer our money if they choose us, and you're telling him he gets it whether he comes or not. You'd give him the money anyway? However, what I said next made everyone in the room want to curse me. Esteemed teachers, I've already made my decision. I'm going to repeat the year and retake the exam. Everyone's mind went blank. What on earth was going on? A pack of reporters, as if smelling a huge story, swarmed over. Student Lu Chuan, may I ask why you, the top scorer with a perfect grade, are giving up on university? My eyes lit up. That was the exact question I was waiting for. Because this year's exam from the test committee was just too easy. I got a perfect score without even using half of my ability. When the interview was broadcast, the entire nation was in an uproar, especially the students taking the exam the following year. Can't you be a decent human being for once? Can you not be such a jerk? Meanwhile, the experts on the exam committee were collectively furious. Isn't that a bit too arrogant? Does he really think that's all our committee is capable of? After the interview, the prize money I received from various provincial organizations totaled up to 1.5 million. After the news aired, public opinion exploded once again. Netizens all said they finally understood why I wasn't going to university. With my scores, couldn't I just take the exam again next year and easily rake in another million? But I didn't pay any attention to these haters online. Because I had a date with the campus belle, Yingwen. We'd had a secret crush on each other back at school. But she always held back because of the college entrance exam. Now that I was the top scorer, it was only natural for us to make our relationship official. And just like that, 1 year went by. Time passed, and it was the day of the college entrance exam in the second year. As soon as I arrived at the exam center, countless reporters wanted to interview me. Student Lu Chuan, what score are you expecting on your second attempt? I smiled and shook my head. Hey, I'll probably just barely scrape by with a perfect score. The reporter was instantly ecstatic. He had already thought of the news headline. Perfect score genius vows to ace exam a second time. A second reporter quickly spoke up. Last year, you provoked the exam committee, which made the experts furious. This year's test is going to be much harder than last year's. It's caused a lot of students to complain endlessly. May I ask, there's some kind of misunderstanding in all of this? It's no misunderstanding. I'm not targeting the exam committee. I'm saying that everyone present here is garbage. The reporters were speechless. This kid's arrogance was truly boundless. And seeing the beautiful girl standing next to me, one reporter blurted out, "Excuse me, Student Lu. Who is this beautiful lady by your side?" I didn't hide it. I took Yin Wenwen's small hand and openly declared, "She's my girlfriend." As expected, the reporters figured that gossip was still news. They took out their cameras and started snapping away. A single photo like that could increase their article's click-through rate by several dozen percentage points. Soon, the exam began as scheduled, and my theory was perfectly proven. As soon as I finished reading a question, the answer would automatically appear in my mind. And I didn't have to worry about making any mistakes at all. In fact, this time, I even used a different writing style. Was still calligraphy so masterful it could have founded its own school. The two proctors kept glancing over at me. They saw me writing furiously, with almost no pauses. Driven by curiosity, he stood up and began patrolling the exam hall. When his eyes fell upon my exam paper, he was practically mesmerized. He froze right there on the spot. He saw a young man, only 19 years old, who finally realized the secret weapon this year's examiners had prepared. They required students to write a sequel to The Dream of the Red Chamber. It had to be at least 600 words. The proctor happened to be a die-hard fan of the novel as well. He knew exactly how incredibly difficult this was. Countless people had tried to write sequels, but none could ever compare to the original. They all lacked that specific soul and charm. But when he saw that I didn't even stop to think before my pen hit the paper, his expression shifted through a dozen different emotions, right until my personal narrative filled the entire sheet. His heart felt like it was being clawed by a cat. The suspense and curiosity were absolutely killing him. When the other students saw me turning in my paper early yet again, they all rolled their eyes in unison. Why is it this show off again? Does he think he'll die if he stops acting cool for 1 second? A few days later, the college entrance exams ended, and the grading committee began their work. Every single teacher there felt that they simply didn't have the authority to grade my essay. Left with no choice, they reported it to their superiors and asked for a consultation from the expert review panel. When Zhang Menglin, a giant in the literary world, saw my exam paper, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. Where is the rest of it? This clearly isn't finished yet. How could it possibly end right here? At that moment, he looked like he was about to lose his mind and snap at someone. As a veteran fan of the series, he saw a real chance at finally completing the Red Chamber saga. But the exam only provided a tiny bit of paper. Chen Chu, from the grading team, hurriedly tried to calm him down. This is an exam, not a literary research project. He then cautiously asked Zhang Menglin, "What score should we give him?" Zhang Menglin felt a wave of helplessness. He slumped back into the sofa and muttered, "Give it a perfect score." A few days later, the grading was finished, and the exam results were released. 98, was it? To my surprise, I once again became the national top scholar. A conspiracy? The internet trolls were out in force, claiming the whole thing was rigged. A strict investigation is needed. Writing a sequel to the Red Chamber and getting a perfect score? That's impossible. How could an essay like that possibly get full marks? We demand that his essay be made public. Seeing the massive outcry, the Ministry of Education directly released my essay to the public. The piece was instantly shared and reposted across every major social media platform. The netizens were completely stunned. Is this something a 19-year-old kid could actually write? Countless fans of the novel were practically on their knees, begging me for a sequel. They had waited way too long for this moment. Online opinion flipped 180 degrees instantly. Massive crowds of fans rushed in to tear the trolls apart. Then, the calligraphy expert stepped up, declaring that my handwriting had already reached the level of a unique, master style. The person who pushed this craze to its absolute climax was Zhang Menglin from the Red Chamber Association. He brought a group of reporters straight to my door, hoping I would continue serializing the dream of the Red Chamber. "Name your price," he said, "because as of right now, besides me, no one else could truly bring the story to a proper conclusion." I saw how stressed out these old gentlemen were over this, so I reluctantly agreed to the request. After taking the paper and pen, right there in front of everyone, I started from chapter 81 and wrote all the way until the very end. Zhang Menglin held the manuscript as if it were a priceless, ancient treasure. Sitting in the center of the sofa, he pleaded, "Please, let us publish this. Just tell me, what are your conditions?" But I just calmly shook my head. If I wrote it, it's meant to be read by the people. Just follow the standard publishing process. However, I would like to ask you for a small favor. Zhang Menglin was in a fantastic mood and told me to just say the word. As long as it's within my power, I absolutely won't say no. But what she didn't expect was that my request was for her to pass a message to the exam committee. Make next year's college entrance exam questions as difficult as possible. Zhang Menglin stared at me, wanting to speak but hesitating. Just how difficult do you want the questions to be? Why did he have to pick a fight with the college entrance exam? She complained endlessly in her head, but she didn't dare say it out loud and could only reluctantly say she would give it a try. Later, both parties agreed to a buyout for the sequel to Dream of the Red Chamber for a price of 50 million. Meanwhile, a video of me demanding to increase the difficulty of the college entrance exam spread across the entire internet, and everyone began their crusade against me. The relevant authorities also responded immediately, criticizing me for being too arrogant and for not understanding that learning is a boundless sea. But what no one expected was that 3 days later, the sequel to Dream of the Red Chamber hit the market and sold out immediately upon release. It was like a huge slap in the face that instantly left the haters speechless. And one of the country's top financial tycoons, Yin Tianqi, held the book and wept silently. This kid, Lu Chuan, he's so young, but he writes so well. He immediately had his secretary look up this Lu Chuan person. Soon after, the secretary sent an interview video. When Yin Tianqi saw his daughter, Yin Wenwen, appear, his eyelids started twitching uncontrollably. His jaw dropped. The secretary beside him thought the chairman was about to blow up and instinctively took a step back. But Yin Tianqi simply said, "This kid, he's already come this far, and still hasn't paid a visit to me, his future father-in-law." Then he had his secretary arrange a meeting with his daughter. Not long after, Yin Wenwen was at a high-end hotel with her father. Having dinner, Yin Tianqi's expression darkened. "Lu Chuan is your boyfriend, isn't he?" Thinking of her father's domineering nature, Yin Wenwen hurriedly explained how outstanding he was, and how hard he worked. Yin Tianqi raised a hand to interrupt her. "Work hard? You're the one who should be working hard. Otherwise, how will you be worthy of my good son-in-law? You have to call him husband in the future." At this, Yin Wenwen was completely stunned. "Huh? What is this? Relax." He poured her a cup of hot water, rolling his eyes. "It's not as complicated as you think. That's right, I approve of this son-in-law. But there's one condition." "What condition?" Yin Wenwen asked skeptically. Remaining extremely wary, Yin Tianqi was speechless. It's true what they say, a grown daughter can't be kept at home. Siding with an outsider now, are we? Although I approve of this son-in-law, he has completely won over my daughter. Shouldn't he give me, his future father-in-law, a little welcoming gift? What do you want? A welcoming gift is no big deal. Well, Yin Tianqi coughed dryly. Didn't he write a sequel to Dream of the Red Chamber? The copy he wrote by hand, could he give it to me? Yin Wenwen's first instinct was that something was off. She knew exactly what her old man was like. He definitely had a use for it. Just tell me if it's possible or not, Yin Tianqi said, craning his neck stubbornly. But Yin Wenwen said she couldn't make the decision and that she had to ask me. Then go ask him. Yin Tianqi readily agreed. Seeing her turn to leave, he quickly added, "Hey, make sure you have a good attitude. Don't make my good son-in-law angry." Yin Wenwen suddenly felt like she definitely wasn't his biological daughter. When she got home, she told me what happened. After hearing it, I just shook my head and smiled. I didn't expect, uncle, to find out after all. As for the Red Mansion, I gave it to you a long time ago. Since it's already yours, who you give it to or how you handle it is entirely your business. I have no objections at all. I pulled Ruchu into my arms, gave her a kiss, and then continued. You really don't need to be like this. We are equals, aren't we? You're right about being equals, but I still need to ask for your consent. She let out a sigh of relief and returned a sweet kiss. But it's so great that you agreed. Now there won't be any more resistance between us. After that, Ruchu and I went to see my father-in-law. Everything was going fine at first. Suddenly, the old man cleared his throat. Oh, by the way, when are you two getting your marriage certificate? Wenwen had just taken a sip of tea and sprayed it all over Yin Tianqi. Dad, I'm a bit busy too. I knew I had accidentally won over the father-in-law, but I didn't realize I'd won him over this completely. Uncle, we're only 19. Oh, right, look at my forgetful brain. Yin Tianqi slapped his forehead. You haven't reached the legal age yet. But can we hold the wedding banquet first? When can I meet your parents? Let's pick an auspicious date and get this settled. Dad, Ruchu got flustered. Who's in such a hurry to marry off their own daughter? Even though she was 10,000% willing, a father shouldn't just say it like that. Yin Tianqi waved his hand at her, signaling her to stay calm. I know this isn't the best way to do things, but if I don't lock down such a great son-in-law fast, what if something changes and someone else snatches him away? Hearing this, I honestly didn't know how to respond. I could only try my best to calm down the overeager old man. Then found an excuse to drag Wenwen out of there. Then, not long after, the college entrance exam scores were released again. After I got another perfect score, every top-tier university started reaching out, but I turned them all down one by one. I even claimed the exam questions were way too easy and hoped that for the next one, the experts on the question committee would step it up a bit. See, I wanted to use this method of grinding problems to help our country break through the current technological blockades, but I can't let that secret out. Otherwise, my special ability will vanish. Because of this, the netizens thought I was being way too arrogant. Some people even came to block my front door. If I were just some ordinary guy. But my perspective had already expanded. I took the 50 million I made from writing Dream of the Red Mansion and bought a villa, living in seclusion and ignoring the outside world. That is, until a very heavy piece of news broke. Flight YH739 has lost contact. 261 passengers from Tang country are missing. If the exam committee would just put in more effort, let me unlock some new skills, finding the wreckage of that missing plane wouldn't be a difficult task at all. At the same time, the Department of Education issued several major instructions regarding this year's college entrance exam. On one hand, the questions must evolve with the times, focusing on current challenges and real-world limits. Secondly, they removed the restrictions on the answer sheets to allow for more complex solutions. And just like that, the Tang Country Year 1013 entrance exam began. I could deeply feel the sharp, piercing glares from the students sitting on both sides of me. That was because I, by my own efforts, had single-handedly driven up the difficulty of the entire exam. But the angrier they got, the happier I felt. Who knows, decades from now, some of them might. I could have probably been on the committee that writes the college entrance exam questions. As the students filed into the room, the proctors also arrived for the test. After the papers were handed out, both the students and the proctors looked at me with a hint of anxiety in their eyes. I just ignored them. I started on the questions. The first part of the language section was a breeze. But I was very disappointed when I saw the essay topic, how to optimize postnatal care for sows. The essay wasn't easy to write, but the difficulty was just so-so. Then, I eagerly picked up the math paper, only to be disappointed again. The difficulty was only slightly higher than last year's. Thankfully, on the second day, assume flight YH739 has crashed. Please use your knowledge of physics to analyze the crash site. This was an extra credit question, worth only 1 point. When all the other students saw this question, their skin crawled with dread. Only I just chuckled to myself. The time to serve my country had finally come. At that moment, I realized new information had appeared in my mind. There was a massive amount of it. It even included the manufacturing technology for a futuristic nuclear submarine with a maximum dive depth of 20,000 meters. At that moment, I was trembling with excitement. For just one question, I get this much technology? I've really hit the jackpot. Suddenly, an idea flashed in my mind. Could this be the key to finding the plane's wreckage? But in the real world, the investigation had turned up no results. After the college entrance exam ended, all the students were discussing the crash site, but their opinions were all over the place. There was no standard answer. Half a month later, the exam scores were released. As expected, I got 749 points. I clearly wrote down the correct answer, but they didn't give me a perfect score. No matter, I'll verify it myself. Meanwhile, on the internet, everyone was mocking me, saying my talent had run dry. A reporter, Wang Bingbing, wanting the public to hear my side of the story, came to my house to do a special live interview. She was extremely professional. Her voice was also very sweet. Less than half a minute after the broadcast started, viewership had already reached over 1 million. The first question she asked me was, "How did you perform on the exam this year?" I calmly replied, "I performed as usual, just didn't get a perfect score." But the live comments were flooded with insults. "If you're so great, how come you didn't get a perfect score?" I looked at the viewers' comments and replied to the person who asked that question. "Excuse me, but who told you I didn't get a perfect score?" Wang Bingbing and all the viewers were floored. "Who told me? Does anyone even need to tell me?" The official results were already announced. The highest score in the country was 749. Could it possibly be higher? Hearing that, I said, the grading committee made a mistake. I gave the correct answer, but they never even bothered to verify it. If I find the crash site, it will prove my answer was correct. My words made the entire internet explode. At a celebration party being held by the exam committee, one of them happened to be watching the live stream. Seeing it caused an immediate uproar. "He really has some nerve. What is with this Lu Chuan? How can he be so arrogant?" At that moment, I looked straight into the camera and said calmly, "The missing passenger plane is in the deepest part of the Kogorya Trench." Wang Bingbing froze for a second, but then quickly recovered. "You mean the deepest trench in the entire world? And you just said you would go prove it yourself? Could he really dive 20,000 meters to the seabed?" After the interview, the entire internet laughed, saying I'd lost my mind. But what they didn't know was, while I didn't have the ability to build a submarine, my father-in-law, Yin Tianchi, was no pushover. On the third day, Yin Wenwen and I flew to Shenzhen, where many large shipbuilding companies are located. When he heard I was starting a company for scientific research, he immediately gave me an entire building to use as a laboratory. So, in front of all my employees, I announced that the company's first project would be to build a new type of submersible and get that plane out of the trench. When news of the new project spread, the internet went wild. Some people even attacked me, claiming I was just using the plane crash for clout. But netizens quickly discovered that my company held hundreds of patents. Even those advanced international corporations were shocked by these patented technologies. Finally, on the third month of Future Technology's existence, the assembly of the submersible was complete. It was ready for water testing. Since it can delve deep into the water, as if entering an unmanned realm, I decided to name it the Water God Gong Gong. As the engine started, its descent speed quickly reached 78 knots. A test operator exclaimed, "Are we diving? It feels like we're hitting the highway. It's as if water resistance doesn't even exist." Just at that moment, the submersible sent back a warning. A submarine was detected lurking in the waters. I immediately ordered a scan of the submarine's data. At the same time, 3 destroyers on the surface, currently on a mission, suddenly received a signal from the seabed. "Who's scanning me? We've been targeted. Where are they? Find them, now." But as they searched with all their sonar and radar systems, the destroyer's communications officer suddenly reported, "Sir, we're receiving a communication request from the other party. This probably isn't a hostile submarine, or they wouldn't be contacting us voluntarily." Immediately, we reported the unexpected discovery made during our submersible's test run. "Captain, there's a foreign submarine lurking in our national waters." After the destroyers received the detailed coordinates, Captain Xu Hong immediately gave the order to go fishing. Meanwhile, inside the British submarine, an officer named Ace was laughing. "Tang Guo's radar technology is so backward. We can move wherever we want, and they can't find us." But suddenly, 3 red dots appeared on their radar. Ace's expression changed drastically as he suddenly realized, "We're surrounded. How did they find us with that backward equipment?" But just as they started their engines and tried to flee, they found themselves trapped tight in an anti-submarine net. I didn't pay any more attention to what happened next. The test lasted for a full 3 days. Future Technology announces an expedition to the Kogoryu Trench. Future Technology announces an expedition to the Kogoryu Trench to search for the plane wreckage, and the entire mission will be live-streamed. The internet was immediately in an uproar after the official livestream channel went live. In less than 10 minutes, the hatch closed, and as it submerged into the ocean, Gonggang 1 began its descent at incredible speed. Once the depth surpassed 8,000 meters, the surrounding marine life became extremely scarce. Then, more and more influential figures began to show up. Even the Tang Guo Aerospace Group expressed their hope to collaborate with me. Suddenly, a giant shadow appeared on the livestream, following steadily behind Gonggang 1. When the submersible turned around, everyone finally got a clear look at what this creature was. It was a great shark, nearly 20 meters long. Its mouth full of fangs. It was absolutely terrifying. I ignored the viewers' worries and, with a smile, pressed a red button. As a purple light shot out from the bottom of the submersible, the megalodon instantly dissolved into a cloud of blood in the sea. The top brass of the British Navy, watching the livestream, were dumbfounded. The power of the railgun technology was actually this immense. The power of the railgun technology is that great? Immediately dispatched 3 aircraft carriers over there. They wanted to salvage the Tang Kingdom's submersible. And it wasn't just Britain. The Tang Kingdom's naval chief, Xu Hong, also received orders to dispatch the entire navy at full speed to provide support. It absolutely must not fall into British hands. But at the bottom of the sea, I was unaware of all this. I continued heading toward the deepest part of the trench. Soon, the wreckage of an airplane appeared on the monitor. Netizens were amazed that the missing passenger jet had really crashed here. Just as the entire web was cheering, an internal communication appeared. The Tang Kingdom Navy stated, "Currently, a large number of warships from various countries have gathered above the trench. Their submarines are attempting to make a move on the Gonggang 1. The Tang Kingdom Navy is in a standoff with them. We will do everything in our power to ensure your safety and that of the Gonggang 1. As soon as these words were spoken, the faces of the audience in the livestream chat changed. What are they trying to do? Are they going to start a fight? At the same time, on the surface of the sea, the fleets from various countries suddenly began to accelerate. Xu Hong was furious, and also shocked. We absolutely cannot fire the first shot, otherwise the consequences will be severe. He ordered them to fend off the enemy vessels at all costs, short of opening fire. Inside the Gonggang 1, my heart was also filled with rage. A thought sprouted in my mind, give me 3 years, and the Tang Kingdom's fleet will dominate the 4 seas. At the same time, I felt sorrow and heartache. If a real collision happened and our soldiers were harmed because of this, I'll make them pay this debt in blood. At this moment, on the sea surface, a great battle between the 2 sides was on the brink of erupting. All kinds of interception weapons roared to life, frantically intercepting the incoming missiles. But the gap was too wide. Xu Hong's ships couldn't hold out for 3 minutes. At this moment, in a certain naval operations room, an old man roared, "Get the Dongfeng Express ready. If they don't cease fire in 10 seconds, our side will counterattack at all costs." At the same time, urgent alarm sounds suddenly blared from within the warships of all the nations. The commanders shouted, "Cease fire. Retreat. We've been locked on by the Dongfeng Express." And because of this incident, the submarine I developed attracted industry tycoons who came flocking. They placed a whopping 30 billion in orders at once, seeking cooperation. After getting the money, I had to flex. I announced with great fanfare that all employees' salaries would be tripled, with 2-day weekends. I'll fire anyone who works overtime. Auntie Chen, the janitor, thought about how she could now earn 20,000 a month. She immediately had her daughter apply for a janitor position to scrub toilets. Just then, some expert jumped out and published an article saying the salaries were too high, and that it was not conducive to the hard work of young people. Seeing this news, I publicly stated, future technology is not short on cash. We welcome all ambitious individuals to join. This move caused a complete 180 among netizens. People who were cursing me before started to become fans. Lu Chuan, you are my god. The college entrance exam committee should give Lu Chuan back his points. 521812. The committee head, Wu Jianjun, had once confidently declared that no one could get a perfect score. Until I took to the sea and proved him wrong. It was a huge slap in the face for him. A nameless rage suddenly ignited in Wu Jianjun's heart. I don't believe it. Next year's college entrance exam. I'll give him a mathematical conjecture problem. I refuse to believe that he, Lu Chuan, can still solve it. And at this moment, I was meeting with Naval Commander Wu Kui. He hoped that future technology could cooperate deeply with the military. Develop a carrier battle group better than Britain's. As long as you agree. You can name any condition. You can even be made a colonel in the military. After hearing the military's proposal, I broke out in a cold sweat. They really overestimated me. The problem is, I have no idea how to build an aircraft carrier. As I thought it over, I proposed two conditions. Old Wu, as you know, I take the college entrance exam every year. During next year's exam, I need the military to pull some strings and get a question about aircraft carriers on the test paper. Which I will answer. Old Wu was speechless for a moment. What kind of bizarre request was this? Our military research institute has a budget of hundreds of billions every year. Is that worth less than answering a question on the college entrance exam? I admit I was taking a gamble, but it was too good of an opportunity to waste. Fortunately, Old Wu finally agreed to my request. He'll put a related question on next year's college entrance exam. I struck while the iron was hot and proposed a second condition. If I can successfully solve the aircraft carrier problem, I hope you can help me. Get a license for weapons and equipment research and production. After some discussion, the military representatives left. His assistant couldn't help but ask Old Wu, "Why did you agree to Lu Chuan?" Old Wu said with a cryptic look on his face, "The college entrance exam is undergoing reforms, isn't it? To add a one-point question in the military's name. The Ministry of Education will surely grant us that favor. If Lu Chuan can really help our Navy out of this predicament, I wouldn't just give him one arms license, I'd give him 30 without a problem." I watched Old Wu's retreating figure, praying that the next college entrance exam would have some truly difficult questions. Something like, if Thanos attacked, how would Planet Blue fight back? Wouldn't that be a direct shortcut to dominating the galaxy? Later, the military found the head of the exam setting committee, Wu Jianjun. The military representative explained the purpose of his visit. He hoped the committee could add a one-point extended response question to the physics exam. When Wu Jianjun saw the question proposed by the military, he cursed inwardly, wondering if those army folks were insane. If anyone could answer this, it would undoubtedly benefit all of mankind. How the hell is a high school student supposed to answer this? Yet, the military said their superiors had already approved it. This is an order, not a suggestion. Wu Jianjun had no choice but to agree. Soon, my fourth attempt at the college entrance exam was about to begin. This time, I'm going to become a legend. After I arrived at the exam hall, the place was already swarmed with reporters. Online, people were even setting up betting pools, betting on whether I could get a perfect score again. Once the exam started, the Chinese, math, and foreign language sections were all completely ordinary. The other students smiled in relief. It seemed like there wouldn't be any tricks this year. But after they got the comprehensive science paper, the last biology question was, of all things, how should cancer be treated? Their minds went blank. Countless experts had worked for years on this without a breakthrough. And now you're asking us high school students? What makes you think we're qualified to answer a question like this? But on my paper, I wrote 3 big words, I can cure it. Then I added a general concept for the treatment. The question didn't provide a specific case, so I couldn't outline a precise method. After the physics paper was handed out that afternoon, the students immediately started cursing. "Proctor, come and look at this. What kind of question is this? It's asking us to outline the research path for a future of infinite energy." Just then, a sharp pain shot through my brain, and the technology for controllable nuclear fusion suddenly appeared in my mind. This was unbelievable. These two technologies meant that the era of infinite energy was about to begin for the nation of Tang. At that point, an enemy like Britain would be insignificant. But a Trisolaran. Then, I raised my hand to get the proctor's attention, asking him to bring me some more answer sheets. The teacher asked me very casually how many I wanted. 200, my voice replied in the classroom. Everyone looked at me in disbelief. "Lu Chuan, are you planning to write out the manufacturing process for a nuclear bomb?" Now, it was time for me to show off. What the proctor saw next was a sight he would never forget. I had a pen in my right hand, and another one in my mouth. I started working on 3 answer sheets at once, and my writing speed was as fast as a blur. This time, I didn't turn in my paper early. I didn't stop until the moment the bell rang. When I turned in my exam holding over 200 answer sheets, all the other students had only one thought. Is this guy even human? After collecting the papers, the two proctors were also stunned. It was because on my physics answer sheets, I had written about the research and development of controlled nuclear fusion. Suddenly, the exam hall doors were violently pushed open, and a group of fully armed soldiers rushed in. The man in the lead was a refined-looking soldier. He stated that my answer sheets were considered state secrets. Higher-ups had already approved for the military to take over. At that moment, at a certain military headquarters, Wu Kui waved his hand. Dispatch the entire Special Operations Brigade to surround the conference building. After the answer sheets arrive, without my command, anyone who leaves this building is to be shot on sight. When the researchers carefully examined the answer sheets, they went into a frenzy, as if they'd gone mad. Oh my god, this is controlled nuclear fusion technology. If this is successfully verified, we'll be 100 years ahead of Great Britain. But why would this information be written on an answer sheet? Are the college entrance exams this insane nowadays? A few days later, I decided to build a company to develop nuclear energy. At the same time, Wu Kui heard the news and showed up unannounced. On behalf of the military, he delivered a firearms license. He also stated that the military was investing in the nuclear energy project. And so, with the cooperation of several powerful figures, a trillion-dollar energy company was born. According to Wu Kui's plan, as long as we master nuclear fusion, we can go straight for the ultimate goal. Building an aerospace carrier. But then, Li Chunxuan started muttering again, saying a few words about the authenticity of the content. Unfortunately, no one paid him any mind. The experts had all gone wild. Laymen see the spectacle, but experts see the method. Although they had only seen less than 1% of the content so far, they were absolutely certain this was not just random nonsense. Everything was logical and could be traced. In other words, at least from the information they'd seen, this was real. This is nuclear fusion. This is freaking controlled nuclear fusion technology. As researchers, as professionals who have been in this field for ages, and yet can't even fully master nuclear fission, to suddenly see the technology for nuclear fusion. How could they not go wild? Quick, verify it. Where's my pen? Where's my paper? We have to. Chapter 77, you take a look. It's really controlled nuclear fusion. We absolutely must protect all of this information. The supercomputer. I need to request access to the supercomputer. I don't think we have enough people. Hey, you, old Wu, old Li, hurry up and request more personnel. Just us few experts and scholars, it's not nearly enough. Hurry up and get every nuclear expert in the country transferred over to us. I'm not sleeping from now on, I swear. Damn it, old John. You're over 70, are you trying to kill yourself? Let me handle this kind of thing. Someone, hey, you, go get my stuff, quickly. From today onwards, I'm going to be eating and sleeping right here. Wu Kui, Li Chunggong, Zhou Haiyang, Luo Wen, got it? You all act so gentle and polite on a normal day. So it was all just for show. This is who you really are, isn't it? Look at what we've become. The corner of Wu Kui's mouth twitched as he looked at Luo Wen. Luo Wen blinked. What are you looking at? Wu Kui said with a laugh. Now get to it. At that moment, he was incredibly excited. He didn't understand the technology himself, but these experts did. And since they were this excited, what did that imply? Wasn't it obvious? The entire conference room instantly burst into a flurry of activity. Every answer sheet in their hands was a priceless treasure, except for the first one. Since it contained answers to conventional questions, no one paid it any mind. So they tossed it aside. Once they confirmed that the other answer sheets were, in all likelihood, data on controlled nuclear fusion technology, they all went wild, frantically trying to squeeze in. Zhang Xianji, who was clearly the chief expert, was old and frail, and just couldn't push his way through. After much effort, he managed to get halfway in, only to be pushed back out. He was so angry he almost started cursing, "You good for nothings. You're always so respectful to me, but now you're just going to cast me aside, is that it? All of you, move. Let me through. I want to see." But by now, everyone had lost their minds, and no one paid him any attention. He stomped his feet in anger, his beard trembling furiously. But there was still nothing he could do. And that's when he saw the first answer sheet, the one nobody wanted. He casually picked it up and took a look. The first page was nothing special. The second page, either. Just then, Zhang Xianji was suddenly shocked. What is this? See you curing cancer? What? Hearing this, Wu Kui froze. Curing cancer? What do you mean? It's written right here on the answer sheet. Zhang Xianji leaned over and handed it to Wu Kui's group. Look at this. Wu Kui was completely baffled as he looked at it. Good grief. The exam committee is really pulling a fast one. How to cure cancer? They actually dared to ask a question like this? And Li Chunggong was just criticizing others. You're not much better, are you? So, what about this answer? After a moment of bewilderment, Wu Kui looked at Zhang Xianji. The latter frowned slightly. My main focus is on nuclear physics. I don't know much about biochemistry, and when it comes to medicine, I'm completely clueless. But I can say for certain that with our current level of medical science, curing cancer is nearly impossible, especially in the mid to late stages. With the exception of a few specific types, it's pretty much a death sentence. Besides, even if it could be cured, it wouldn't be this simple, right? Traditional Chinese medicine, yin and yang, the 5 elements. This is all too esoteric. It's not scientific. There's no basis for this. What shocked him was that a question like this even existed, not how good the answer was. Speaking of which, why is this data written on a college entrance exam answer sheet? Because these are this year's college entrance exam questions. Wu Kui replied. Zhang Xianji was astounded. This year's college entrance exam questions. Are the exams really this intense nowadays? This isn't just a little bit intense. This is damn wild. It is a bit wild. Wu Kui's mouth twitched slightly. When did the college entrance exams get so wild? It seems to have started when Lu Chuan appeared out of nowhere. The second year was still okay. It was just about writing a sequel to Dream of the Red Chamber, but starting from last year's exam, it was already getting abnormal. This year is even more outrageous. Treating cancer with physics. Even he, as one of the instigators, thought it was outrageous. But this is what Lu Chuan himself requested. Wu Kui didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but Zhang Xianji didn't say much. After a brief moment of shock, he finally squeezed into the crowd and started to study it with everyone else, going off to debate and verify the nuclear fusion technology. Wu Kui, however, frowned slightly. He handled the answer sheet written on the topic of cancer treatment, remaining silent for a long time. Finally, he said to Luo Wen, "You go make a trip. Get Mr. Pu." Mr. Pu? Luo Wen was slightly taken aback. Mr. Pu's full name was Pu Shisan, one of the national medical sages. After retiring a few years ago, he stopped seeing outside patients. Instead, he was invited by them to serve the leadership. Normally, if there was a headache or a fever, or health conditioning, he was the one in charge. And after he arrived, the old leader's health was noticeably much better than before. So, everyone had immense respect for Mr. Pu, and trusted his medical skills. It's just that I'm afraid the experts will get too worked up, and suddenly have a heart attack, a stroke, or burst a blood vessel. Wu Kui was startled. You have a point. Call in 2 more emergency medical teams. Luo Wen was dumbfounded. Did I guess right or did I guess wrong? About an hour later, Mr. Pu arrived. Wu Kui pulled him aside, away from the noisy experts, and showed him the contents of the answer sheet. Then he said, "Mr. Pu, what do you think of this student's answer?" Mr. Pu didn't respond right away. Instead, he looked at it quietly. It wasn't until he finished reading that he let out a long sigh. The answer is very good. At least for now, this is the method with the highest success rate. But unfortunately, the difficulty is too high. The difficulty is high? Wu Kui was perplexed. He certainly trusted Mr. Pu's words. But what did "the difficulty is high" mean? Yes, the difficulty is high. Theoretically, there's nothing wrong with this answer. The problem is, to possess this level of medical skill, and with such a pure form of traditional Chinese medicine, is too hard to find, too rare. Then how many TCM doctors in our country can do this? Mr. Pu sighed and said, if it was 10 years ago, there were about 20. 30 years ago, there were over 100. But now, from what I know, including myself, you can't even count 5 in the whole country. Wu Kui was shocked. So few? But in recent years, haven't we been actively developing traditional Chinese medicine? There are more and more TCM colleges too. A drop in the bucket. Besides, the approach is wrong from the very root. Mr. Pu shook his head. Since you want to know, I'll be blunt with you. In those TCM colleges, you might not even find 1 in 10,000 who can learn the real skills. It's not that they can't learn. It's that traditional Chinese medicine's demands on talent and individual ability. It's way too high. One must grow through constant practice. But opportunities for practice are pitifully few, not to mention for undergraduates. Even after graduating with a master's or a PhD, how many of them would dare to claim they are truly skilled? That's why the best way to pass on traditional Chinese medicine is still the apprenticeship system. For example, when a master takes on an apprentice, it starts with copying prescriptions, but it's not just about letting him copy. While the master is diagnosing and taking the pulse, the apprentice watches and listens from the side. Then, he lets the apprentice take the pulse and examine the patient too. After that, the master writes a prescription, and the apprentice copies it down. Then they take the pulse again, to cross-reference and solidify what they've learned. Throughout this process, they also have to study all sorts of medical texts. Studying pharmacology, studying acupuncture. This process often takes 20 to 30 years, even for someone who is talented. They'd still need to study for 10 to 20 years to be considered even moderately accomplished. But in the current environment, under today's conditions, how many people can settle down and study for that long? People have to eat. People have to earn money to support their families. And even if money isn't an issue, learning Chinese medicine is extremely tedious and dull. The number of people who can persist is incredibly small. In addition to that, there are two other major problems. Wu Kui was shocked. Before this, he had no idea that Chinese medicine was so difficult. Not only was it difficult to learn, there were even two external problems. Yes, two major problems. The first is the issue with medicinal herbs. The herbs nowadays, I wouldn't call them fake, but it's common to pass off inferior herbs as high-quality ones. They aren't grown long enough, which results in insufficient medicinal effects. The place of origin is wrong. There are just so many problems. This greatly reduces the effectiveness of the prescriptions. The second is the problem with the methodology of Chinese medicine. You see, our Chinese medicine is all about strengthening what is correct and dispelling evil influences. It focuses on harmonizing yin, yang, and the 5 elements. But this is too esoteric. Many TCM apprentices, and even many TCM doctors themselves, don't understand it. And they don't believe in this system. So, they just resort to rote memorization. They memorize prescriptions, but how do they decide which one to use? They look at the results of modern medical tests. But modern medical tests and the TCM diagnosis of observation, olfaction, inquiry, and palpation are two completely different things. It has gone from diagnosis and treatment based on syndrome differentiation to just treating the disease. It's only a slight change in wording, but the difference is night and day. In this situation, curing an illness really just comes down to luck. If you're lucky and the prescription matches the condition, it might actually work. But if you're unlucky, in a mild case, the symptoms worsen. In a severe case, it's essentially committing murder with a license. For instance, take the commonly used white tiger decoction for high fevers. They only know that it can reduce fever, completely forgetting that in Chinese medicine, high fevers are also classified into warm heat and cold heat. If you don't differentiate the syndrome and end up using a medicine with properties that are the same as the illness, you're just adding fuel to the fire, causing the condition to worsen. As he said this, Mr. Pu shook his head, his heart filled with sorrow. The problem of the westernization of Chinese medicine is widespread. It's also a major issue hindering the development and revival of Chinese medicine. Modern medicine is actually a good thing. The various diagnostic methods are also very useful. Chinese medicine practitioners can look at them, use them as a reference. But you can't prescribe medicine based solely on them. But too many practitioners have forgotten this. As the years go by, their skills haven't improved at all. I'm afraid they've completely forgotten how to even perform a differential diagnosis. How are they supposed to treat illnesses, let alone treat or stabilize something like cancer, and keep it from worsening? Even for someone like me, who started studying medicine with my father at the age of 6. With a medical book in my hands every day for over 70 years now, I still wouldn't dare claim I can cure every illness. I can only say there's a chance. Wu Kui understood, and he couldn't help but frown. Is there a way to change this? As a soldier, this shouldn't be my business. But for once, I really feel like meddling. This is the 5 animal frolics. In the small courtyard outside the villa, early in the morning, Ying Ruchu practiced along with Lu Chuan. After only a few minutes, she felt terribly sore all over and couldn't help but be surprised. I'm in pretty good shape, and these movements don't even look that strenuous. Why am I so tired? The 5 animal frolics can strengthen the body. It's good for our health, Lu Chuan said with a smile. Practice it every day and you'll get used to it over time. Come on, let's head to the office. We've got big things to accomplish today. It's time to get the new project approved. Regarding the 2 extension problems from this year's college entrance exam, the online buzz was still going strong, with countless people joining the heated discussion. There were even some people from other countries who joined in. But Lu Chuan didn't chime in or pay any attention to it. 1 hour later, at the company office, Lu Chuan, Ying Ruchu, and Secretary Zhang met in the office. CEO Lu, should I call Li Cheng and the others over? No need, Lu Chuan waved his hand gently. Let Li Cheng and his team focus on the shipyard for now. This new project doesn't need them just yet. We'll call them in to help when the time comes. I asked you to come and help with the project proposal. Alright, CEO Lu. Go ahead. Secretary Zhang sat up straight, her hands already poised over the keyboard. Don't record this, especially not on a computer. Lu Chuan was very serious. The project he was about to undertake could genuinely propel the world forward by leaps and bounds, skipping an entire era. With this kind of technology, even the tiniest detail cannot be revealed casually, otherwise it would cause enormous problems. Besides, Lu Chuan was certain he was already being watched. Perhaps they didn't know what he was planning to do next. But those people wanted to get their hands on anything related to the Gongong one. If I'm not careful and put this data on a computer, especially one connected to the internet, they might just get lucky and steal it. Of course, even if they did get it, they wouldn't be able to replicate it anytime soon. But why let them get it in the first place? Those people are up to no good. Especially those foreigners. They're not one of us. They are bound to have ulterior motives. When Secretary Zhang heard Lu Chuan say this, she grew quite tense. Help me prepare a top specification biophysics and chemistry lab. And remember, it has to be top of the line. Money isn't the issue if we don't know what equipment to get. You can contact experts in the relevant fields to inquire. Paying a consultation fee is no problem. Next, help me contact some material suppliers. I'll give you the list later. And if these suppliers are foreign companies, after we've settled on a price, you must import as much as you can for me, with lightning speed, before they even know what's happening. Because we'll likely only get this one chance. Secretary Zhang's expression changed. Wait, no, hold on. Lu Chuan suddenly thought of an issue. Those guys, they might not sell to us, future tech. And they'll use it to negotiate terms. That's almost a certainty. After all, in the past, I managed to offend all those top foreign tech firms. And now we want to import materials from them? It'd be a miracle if they don't give us a hard time or try to find a way to screw future tech over. Theoretically, for the materials we need to import, maybe we could find a few partners? Ying Ruchu suggested. We can have our partners use their own aims to import it. That should work, right? That method could work. Lu Chuan nodded. Of course we'll need partners. For the previous Gong series projects, we needed the heavy hitters on our side to handle problems for us. This time, what I'm getting into is nuclear fusion and its supporting technologies. Without partners, future tech really can't protect this. Not even with Yingtianxi Financial and the Huafu Group. It's still not enough. This time, if we don't get the government on board, things won't be stable. Let's shelve this for now. We'll have them handle it later. As for the materials we don't need to import, we can just procure them through the normal channels. Then Lu Chuan looked at Ying Ruchu and said with a smile, help me contact Uncle Ying. Ask him if he's interested this time. Oh, and while you're at it, ask Uncle Wang, too. As for what we're doing, don't reveal that for now. Just ask them if they want in. Of course, they only have the right to invest and receive dividends. They'll have no say in the operations. As for the ratio, Lu Chuan thought for a moment. 100 billion Tang Wo currency. For a 10% stake. Strictly speaking, that's a bargain. Once this project gets going, it'll be worth more than 1 trillion Tang Wo currency. But right now, we have nothing. Just by moving my lips, I'm giving this new project $1 trillion valuation. This is already pretty fair. If I asked for more, Lu Chuan was afraid even his father-in-law would get angry with him. And besides, no one calculates based on the peak valuation right at the start of a project. Not to mention, it's not like they're only putting in money. They have to pull strings, too. What's more, my own funds really aren't enough. Even though future tech has been raking in cash lately, it all depends on what you're using the money for. It might be enough for other things, but if you want to play in the truly cutting-edge, high-tech space, tossing in 10 or 20 billion won't even make a sound. Even in the chip industry, 20 billion is nothing. Even if you throw in 50 or 100 billion, you might not make a dent. It's only because I've already mastered the relevant technology that I don't need to do R&D from scratch, which is why the required funding isn't so terrifying. Otherwise, to develop nuclear fusion from nothing, forget 100 billion. Even trillions upon trillions wouldn't be enough. Some technologies can't just be created with money. After all, this is game-changing. 100 billion for a 10% stake. Secretary Zhang was stunned. What kind of project has an initial valuation of 1 trillion? If it were anyone else, he would have just thought they were unreliable, spouting nonsense to scam people. But since it was Lu Chuan who said it, he was just utterly shocked. Then, Secretary Zhang, I need you to go to the relevant departments in person to apply for the licenses and permits needed for the new project. Yes, Mr. Lu, what category of permits and licenses should we apply for? Energy. Lu Chuan's eyes narrowed slightly. Nuclear energy, nuclear fusion. Let's call it Future Energy. It will be the second subsidiary under our company, Future Technology. Why not Future Nuclear? Because what I know now isn't just limited to nuclear energy. There are even more advanced technologies. It's just that with Mo Langson's current level of technology, they can't be developed yet. But after a while, that might not be the case. New nuclear energy? Secretary Zhang's jaw dropped, and he trembled with excitement. Goosebumps instantly covered his entire body, and his impressive frame trembled uncontrollably. The next second, he thought of something and was stunned. He asked, Mr. Lu, don't tell me you also got a perfect score on this year's college entrance exam? Nuclear energy, or nuclear fusion. No wonder the valuation was over 1 trillion from the start. For this kind of technology, if it's really achieved, over 1 trillion. 1 trillion is nothing. Lu Chuan chuckled. I suppose so. Secretary Zhang froze, almost forgetting how to breathe at that moment. But he quickly thought of another question. If you could get a perfect score, doesn't that mean the other extension problem? Mr. Lu, you also. Oh my god, his mind went completely blank. Even for a man of his experience, he couldn't remain calm at all. A moment later, Secretary Zhang left. But Lu Chuan had sharp eyes and noticed that the chair he'd been sitting on was wet, including the seat itself. So was the back of the chair, and even the desk. But it wasn't because he'd wet himself or anything. It was because he was so excited that he was sweating profusely, soaking his clothes. I'll go contact my dad. Ying Rushu gave Lu Chuan a kiss. Then she left the office with a grin. She had also been stunned just now. Even though Lu Chuan had told her about this before, seeing him speak with such authority just now. His incredible confidence still left her captivated and mesmerized. She was so excited, she could hardly stand it. She was afraid that if she stayed any longer, she wouldn't be able to control herself. Lu Chuan stretched. He took out his phone and found Luo Wen's number, but when he called, it was switched off. Switched off? That's strange. Then, he tried calling Wu Kui, Li Chunggong, and Zhou Haiyang, but couldn't get through to any of them. What's going on? Lu Chuan wondered. Isn't this a technology we developed together? If you hadn't posed the question, I never would have been able to develop it. So, you guys wouldn't blacklist me, would you? Or is something urgent going on? Lu Chuan thought for a moment and decided the latter was more likely. So, he decided to have Secretary Zhang head over to the Navy first, to contact them in person. Meanwhile, in a certain high-end club, Lao Wang and Yin Tianqi were having a good time. Ever since their last collaboration, two of them had grown much closer. Lately, they often got together to relax when they had free time. Suddenly, Yin Tianqi's phone started ringing. Just hang up, Lao Wang suggested. No way, Yin Tianqi said, looking at the phone. It was his daughter calling. How could he possibly hang up? Quiet down, don't interrupt my call with my darling daughter. At these words, Lao Wang's interest was immediately piqued. He quickly quieted down, and perked up his ears. My dear daughter, Lu Chuan's new investment project? Am I interested? Of course, I'm interested. After just a few short sentences, Yin Tianqi was so elated he nearly jumped for joy. Lao Wang, who had been calmly enjoying his massage while secretly eavesdropping, suddenly got a huge jolt of energy and shot right up. He immediately waved the two masseuses away and then strode over to Yin Tianqi's side. He pressed right up against him, putting his ear close to the back of the phone. 100 billion Tang Wo currency for 10%? Contact Lao Wang. Alright, he's right here next to me. Wait for my good news. After a few more short sentences, the call ended. Yin Tianqi shuddered and shoved Lao Wang away. You old rascal, get away from me. I'm not interested in men. You think I am? Lao Wang retorted, rolling his eyes. You heard all that, right? Yin Tianqi didn't want to waste time either. I heard. It's good that you heard. Saves me the trouble of explaining. 100 billion. For a 10% stake. We'll figure out for ourselves how much we each put in. If we don't have enough capital, we can also contact other trustworthy domestic companies with clean backgrounds to invest. We'll just calculate it proportionally. The condition is that they get no say in things, only profit sharing. And at the same time, they'll have to fulfill some corresponding obligations. So, are you in or not? Yin Tianqi picked up the ridiculously expensive tea beside him and took a sip, waiting calmly. And at the same time, they'll have to fulfill some corresponding obligations. So, are you in or not? Yin Tianqi picked up the ridiculously expensive tea beside him, took a sip, and waited calmly. Haha, in or not? Lao Wang laughed. Old Ying, do you take me for a fool? Yin Tianqi raised an eyebrow. He thought the price was too outrageous. He wasn't worried if Lao Wang didn't invest. Just as he was thinking of making his excuses, he heard Lao Wang add, only a fool wouldn't invest. In all the years since the Huafu Group came to be, we've made countless investments, but one that pays off this quickly, this well, and this hassle-free? That would only be the future communications project. I've seen what that kid Lu Chuan is capable of, and his character is impeccable. His new project is 100 billion for just a 10% stake? Haha, you don't even need to think to know. Must be something incredible. If I don't invest, then I must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. Yin Tianqi was slightly surprised. You have that much capital? I'll just sell off all the futures and whatnot I have on hand. I can free up 20 to 30 billion in a month at most. Can your Huafu Group come up with 70 billion in liquid capital? I don't have it, old Wang shrugged, but I can sell. Sell the houses, sell the malls. At worst, I'll just sell them at a discount. Raising cash is easy enough. Just sell at a discount. You really think that highly of my son-in-law? Damn it, don't act like you're doing me a favor after getting such a good deal. Old Wang cursed him out directly. Your son-in-law is amazing, but you're not worth a damn. I'm telling you, it's only because I had a son. And a damn unambitious one at that. If I had a daughter, even if she wasn't pretty, I'd spend hundreds of millions on plastic surgery just to steal that son-in-law from you. Well, you've got no chance then. Yin Tianqi tilted his head back. My daughter is all natural. And there are no ifs in life. Screw you. Old Wang hopped mad. Soon, two began arranging the liquidation of their assets, even causing two major market shocks. Yin Tianqi dumped nearly 30 billion in futures all at once, sending the futures market into a wild frenzy. Not only did prices plummet, but it also sent retail investors into a total panic. Some people started panic selling immediately. Yin Tianqi had dumped nearly 30 billion in futures. This directly caused the futures market to fluctuate wildly, and prices dropped significantly. It left retail investors terrified, and some followed suit, selling off their holdings. By the end, other financial institutions and big players were all cursing his name. Because they were trading those same futures, they couldn't just sit by and watch the market crash. To stabilize things, they had to buy up the stock. Normally, for big players or institutions, buying up stock is perfectly normal, but now they were being forced into it. They didn't even know what was happening. While buying, they had to worry. If their information was outdated and others had inside intel, is that why he's selling? Did they even dare to take it? Should they buy or not? It forced them to buy, while frantically calling everyone for info and cursing up a storm. Finally, they figured out what was going on. It was you, Ying Tianqi, you son of a bitch. Starting a massive sell-off without a word. Then they found out, damn it. It was you, you bastard. You just needed cash for an investment. Damn it, you've really screwed us over. Screw you. Then they started frantically calling Ying Tianqi. As soon as the calls connected, they let out a barrage of insults. Ying Tianqi knew he was in the wrong, so he just chuckled and brushed it off. As for those interested in the investment, Ying Tianqi kept his mouth shut. Just because you're interested doesn't mean I have to bring you in. In this business, we're rivals. Why would I help you make money? What are you even thinking? Old Wang didn't make such a scene. The properties and malls under his Huafu group were also in high demand. Once the big developers heard about the discount, they started a buying frenzy despite their doubts. The speed of raising cash was impressive. Meanwhile, Secretary Zhang rushed to the relevant departments to apply for licenses for Future Energy. As the Chief Secretary of Future Tech, Future Tech already enjoyed many perks and priority policies. So at the start, it was a green light all the way, moving extremely fast. But when he finished the paperwork, the person in charge of the review took it with a smile. Future Tech already enjoyed many perks and priority policies. So at first, it was naturally all green lights, and everything went incredibly fast. But when he finished filling out the documents, the person in charge of the review happily took them. As he was about to stamp it and enter it into the computer, he suddenly froze in shock. Whoa, the main line of business includes developing and selling nuclear energy. There's no precedent for this, right? Although the government encourages private funds to invest in shares, investing in nuclear energy companies, but that doesn't mean they support you guys developing it on your own. What a headache. The employee looked at Secretary Zhang, completely dumbfounded. This. I don't dare to stamp this, he said with a wry smile. He was scared too. There's no way I can put my stamp on this. If I stamp this, and something goes wrong, wouldn't I be completely finished? I don't have that authority. Secretary Zhang wasn't surprised. He smiled and said, no problem. Could you please help me contact your superior? Is that all right? Yes, of course. The staff member breathed a long sigh of relief. Contacting his superior? Absolutely no problem with that. This hot potato should be passed on to him. A moment later, his superior arrived. And a few minutes later, the superior was also dumbfounded. Then, with his head buzzing, Secretary Zhang, please wait a moment. I'll contact my superior for you. And then his superior. Half an hour later, there were already 7 or 8 people standing behind the counter. Each one's rank was higher than the last, each one's presence more powerful than the person before. The original counter clerk had been squeezed into a corner, where he was shivering. Even the head of the entire unit arrived, but at this moment, even he was also shivering all over, with cold sweat pouring down. Although it was June, the temperature of the air conditioner in here was very low. Logically speaking, without any strenuous movement, there's no way you should be sweating. But now, every one of them was drenched in sweat, frantically wiping it away. Oh, for crying out loud. The director-in-chief, Chen Wenbin, touched his forehead, which was covered in cold sweat. Damn it, if it were anyone else who brought me this kind of document to stamp, I would have chewed them out and thrown them out. No, that's not right. If it were other people, would my subordinates even dare to call me here? The director-in-chief, Chen Wenbin, touched his forehead, which was covered in cold sweat. Damn it, if it were anyone else who brought me this kind of document to stamp, I would have chewed them out and thrown them out. No, that's not right. If it were other people, would my subordinates dare to call me here? They'd all have to face a scolding with them. Unfortunately, there are no ifs. In the current Shenzhen, Future Technology is a true star enterprise. Although right now it only seems to have tens of billions in business. But everyone knows Future Technology has a bright future. The moment they're willing to go public, a market value of over $1 trillion would not be a problem. And on top of that, there are related policies. The requirement from above is that as long as it doesn't violate any laws, regulations, or principles, it's all green lights. But right now, who would dare to give this particular green light? In any case, I don't dare to. Whoever is brave enough can do it. Chen Wenbin took a deep breath and said helplessly, Secretary Zhang. Logically speaking, if Future Technology wants to establish a subsidiary, we should support it unconditionally. After all, this is an investment in our Shenzhen, and it will also bring employment opportunities and a lot of talent. But these licenses and documents related to nuclear energy. I really don't have the authority. Why don't you try going further up the chain? Secretary Zhang had already guessed this would happen. They wouldn't, and wouldn't dare, authorize this so easily. He smiled and said, "There's no rush. Comrades, why don't you hear me out? What do you think our initial investment for future energy will be?" Chen Wenbin was stunned, and then his heart began to race. "How much?" "The first phase is 1 trillion. Secretary Zhang said it without even blinking. "An investment of 100 billion only gets you a 10% stake." 1 trillion? Are you serious? Just hearing that, Chen Wenbin trembled for a good while, a surge of anger rising in his chest. Desperation bred a reckless courage. This was indeed a hot potato, no doubt about it. And a scorching hot one at that. But, what if they actually pulled it off? Putting everything else aside, if a 1 trillion investment landed in Shanghai. Think of how massive that achievement would be. He thought his chances for promotion were dead. But with an achievement like this backing him, it might just happen. Screw it, let's do it. If I just sign off on this, imagine the glory. He thought his chances for promotion were dead, but with an achievement like this, it might just happen. Damn it, let's just sign the papers. I might not have the guts for everything, but I can certainly give this a shot. Secretary Zhang, I have an idea, Chen Wenbin said, changing his tune. I'll help you file an application with the higher-ups. Then I'll be in your debt. Secretary Zhang smiled as he stood up. By the way, comrade, our CEO, Mr. Liu, wanted me to mention. This isn't just a project for future tech. Besides us, several other domestic capital groups will be joining in. Furthermore, the military will be one of our controlling stakeholders. Hearing this, Chen Wenbin's eyes instantly lit up. The military was getting involved too? Well, that changed everything. At that moment, he just wanted to scream, "Why didn't you say so sooner? Why the hell didn't you say so? I will do everything in my power." He almost slapped his chest to give his word. Once Secretary Zhang left, Chen Wenbin immediately grabbed the relevant documents and personally set off for the capital. Meanwhile, Secretary Zhang headed to the naval headquarters to see Luo Wen, only to be stopped at the front gate. He was told that Luo Wen, Wu Kui, and the others were all currently on a top-level classified mission. No visitors allowed. Secretary Zhang frowned slightly. "Could you tell them I'm from Future Tech? Our CEO, Lu Chuan, sent me here on urgent business. Of course, if it's a classified mission, I shouldn't intrude. I just hope you can pass the message along when the time is right." "Wait, Future Tech? Lu Chuan?" The two young guards were visibly startled. "CEO Lu Chuan sent you? Is that? Just wait right here. I'll go report this immediately." After saying that, one of them ran inside. They have communication equipment, but didn't even use it? Secretary Zhang was confused. What was going on? Didn't they say it was a top-level classified mission? Seeing his confusion, the remaining guard smiled. "You don't understand. The leadership gave strict orders. See no one during the mission. Ignore everything else, but anything related to CEO Lu is the exception." Secretary Zhang understood, but he was secretly shocked to the core. See no one during the mission, ignore everything else, but anything related to CEO Lu is the exception. Secretary Zhang was stunned, but inwardly, he was stunned. Could the classified mission they were carrying out be this? He remembered that before the college entrance exam questions were set, Luo Wen had come looking for CEO Lu. The notification came through quickly. "They're looking for me," Luo Wen said, pushing up his glasses. He looked at Wu Kui, who didn't hesitate for a moment. He stood up immediately. "You guys keep an eye on things here." By the time I got there myself, the conference room was already packed to the brim. All the credible experts in nuclear physics and materials science from every relevant department in the country had arrived and were frantically running verifications. At the same time, they were practically at each other's throats, arguing non-stop. Wu Kui gathered his men, picked up Secretary Zhang, and headed straight for Future Technologies. Later, both parties met in Lu Chuan's office. "Little Lu, we meet again," Wu Kui said with a smile. But seeing Lu Chuan again, his expression was quite complex. It was completely different from their first meeting. Back then, he knew Lu Chuan was a talented individual, and he had high hopes that Lu Chuan would achieve even more impressive results. But he never imagined that in less than a year. To be precise, it's only been a little over half a year. Lu Chuan had actually come this far. It was incredible, and yet, it was worthy of the highest praise. "I was planning on paying you a visit. But I never expected you'd come in person, Elder Wu," Lu Chuan replied with a smile. Then again, it wasn't surprising that Elder Wu would come personally. After all, the problem came from the Navy, so of course, they'd be the first to pay attention to the answer. Clearly, the Navy had figured some things out, which was to be expected. They have a great number of capable people over there. Of course, I had to come myself. As he spoke, he personally took out an armory license and handed it to Lu Chuan. Lu Chuan was overjoyed, but then became curious. "Thank you, Elder Wu. But, has it been verified already?" "It's in the process of verification, but all the experts have unanimously confirmed that even if it's not immediately successful, it can help us save at least 20 to 30 years. It's in the process of verification, but all the experts have unanimously confirmed that even if it's not immediately successful, it can help us save at least 20 to 30 years. It will prevent us from taking decades of wrong turns. So, you've earned this license. We agreed on this before, didn't we? Lu Chuan nodded and accepted it without ceremony. Just as he put down the license and was about to talk business, Elder Wu's phone suddenly rang. What is it? The verification was a success? It's viable? There's a problem? What problem? The Chuan element? A moment later, he put down his phone and stared at Lu Chuan with a peculiar look. Lu Chuan simply returned a smile. That's the issue I was just about to bring up. I have to say, the esteemed experts work very quickly. Wu Kui gave Lu Chuan a deep look, then smiled. I'm all ears. Just now on the phone, Luo Wen had explained it very clearly. The experts went from initial disbelief to settling down to verify the calculations. And after a final debate, they had reached a unanimous conclusion. And that conclusion was, Lu Chuan's solution was viable. At the very least, the implementation plan for controlled nuclear fusion that Lu Chuan had written. They can't find a single flaw or mistake, but all of this is built on one single premise. And that is that the required element, Chuan, actually exists. And that it really has the effects they've described. You could say the Chuan element is the very foundation of Lu Chuan's plan for controllable nuclear fusion. Without the Chuan element, none of this holds any weight. But if the Chuan element is real, then they could probably start their experiments immediately. They might even start building. As for any minor issues they might encounter, I worry. Problems are meant to be solved. You can't see the rainbow without weathering the storm. Armchair theorizing isn't worth a damn no matter how many times you calculate it. You still have to experiment for yourself. But does this Chuan element really exist? Among all currently known elements, there is no such thing as the Chuan element. Plus, its properties are frankly too incredible. However, Luo Wen also emphasized that among currently known elements, there is no such thing as the Chuan element. Plus, its properties are frankly too incredible. It's just that Luo Wen also pointed out what the experts said. In a single sentence, even if this is a hoax, it's a masterfully sophisticated one. And we're more than willing to walk right into it. And let him play us for fools. The meaning behind those words couldn't be any clearer. The Chuan element, Lu Chuan said with a smile, is indeed the core of achieving controllable nuclear fusion. Exactly what kind of element is this Chuan? Is it some element currently unknown to science? Why haven't I ever heard of it? Although Wu Kui isn't a technical expert, having reached his position, he's still picked up a fair amount of relevant knowledge. I've heard of many things, but I've never heard of a Chuan element. It's not an unknown element, it's an element that currently doesn't exist. So, Elder Wu, it's perfectly normal that you've never heard of it. Wu Kui suddenly realized, yet he wasn't in any rush to ask more, he remained very composed. Seeing this, Lu Chuan secretly grumbled to himself, I'm lucky this old gentleman isn't a technical expert, otherwise, after hearing what I just said, he'd probably tear me a new one. Then he continued, but very soon, it will exist. Because Future Tech is going to establish a brand new subsidiary. Then I'll immediately start synthesizing the Chuan element, synthesizing a completely new element. Now, Planet Moran doesn't have Marvel or anything like that. There are foreign superhero movies. But they don't have Iron Man or any of the heroes we know on Earth. So Wu Kui had a look of shock and realization on his face. But he couldn't connect any of this to someone like Iron Man. Even if he didn't get the tech, Wu Kui knew just how insane this project was. And how much of an impact it would have if it worked. Then what are we waiting for? It's not that I want to wait, but the conditions aren't right yet. Lu Chuan shrugged and spread his hands. First, there's the matter of licenses and permits. Elder Wu, you should know that in our country, when it comes to private companies controlling nuclear energy firms, Lu Chuan shrugged again. First, there's the issue of licenses and permits. Elder Wu, you should know. In our country, regarding private enterprises having a majority stake in nuclear energy, there's still a lot of hesitation. Even though we've applied, we don't know what our chances of success are. Second, we need to purchase and some related equipment and materials. When Elder Wu heard this, he understood. What's the big deal? I'll solve this matter for you. As long as what you're saying is true, then you don't need to have any worries. On the contrary, our entire country will be standing behind you. While we watch you forge ahead, we'll shield you from the wind and rain and help you grow. With your words, Elder Wu, I can rest assured. Lu Chuan smiled. P.S. The cowardly author chickened out. I'll just abbreviate this part. Otherwise, the censorship would be endless. From now on, everyone, please don't get hung up on the details of plots involving the country, government, etc. Or the logic or anything. It's enough to just know what's going on. Then, may I ask, Elder Wu, are you, the Navy, or rather, the military, interested in buying a stake in our future energy? Of course, Wu Kui didn't hold back either. To be honest, even if you hadn't said it, I was going to bring it up. Although we will support you, we must also be involved. Be involved? Sure, Lu Chuan nodded. But you will have no controlling stake and no corresponding say. You can observe, and you can receive dividends. You can purchase what you need from our future energy at an internal price. But the technology will remain in my hands. I alone will have the final say. If you don't agree to this, then there's nothing to discuss. He was gentle when it was time to be gentle, and firm when it was time to be firm. Lu Chuan was definitely not a pushover. If you said he was afraid, he really wasn't. After all, he was fighting for his own interests, and this was no longer just about interests. He trusted the country, but he also had to have a backup plan for himself. He would never leak the synthesis formula for the Chuan element. As for whether they would try to force him, but he also had to have a backup plan for himself. He would never leak the synthesis formula for the Chuan element. As for whether they would try to force him, Lu Chuan believed they shouldn't be that stupid. To do something like killing the goose that lays the golden eggs. He was only 21. Yet he had already developed a technology like controlled nuclear fusion. Give him a little more time, and how far could he go? It's simply unimaginable to make a move against him or become his enemy now. You couldn't do something like that unless your brain had been squeezed 1,000 times. Any normal person would know they should get on his good side and establish a close cooperative relationship, not become enemies. Besides, the terms he offered weren't bad, were they? In principle, I have no problem with this. But I can't represent the entire country, you understand? Wu Kui said after a brief moment of contemplation. I will report this immediately later. And I will do my best to fight for it. It shouldn't be a big problem. Worst, I'll just give them all a good scolding. If that doesn't work, Wu Kui began to roll up his sleeves. Then I'll have to trouble you, Elder Wu. Lu Chuan smiled. My condition is that you provide 200 billion. For a 20% stake. Elder Wu nodded. 200 billion for 20%. It seems small, but don't forget what this is for. Then I'll just wait for the good news. Don't you worry, I'll get on it right away. Wu Kui immediately got up and left. The moment he stepped into his car, he started making arrangements. His first move was to make a phone call to the highest-ranking official in the Department of Commerce. At this very moment, that official was listening to Chen Wenbin's report and was absolutely tearing him a new one. What do you mean the military is getting involved? How come I haven't heard a single word about this? If this were real, do you think I wouldn't know? Are you? Hold on, let me take this call. I'll finish chewing you out in a second. Chen Wenbin stood there, shrinking back like a terrified little quail. Hello? Wu? Elder Wu? Yes, sir. There are absolutely no problems on my end. Don't you worry, sir. I'll deal with anyone who dares to get in the way. After he hung up the phone, Chen Wenbin suddenly noticed. Yes, sir. There are absolutely no problems on my end. Don't you worry, sir. I'll deal with anyone who dares to get in the way. After he hung up the phone, Chen Wenbin realized that his old boss's entire attitude had done a complete 180-degree turn. Little Chen, I've seen all the hard work you've put in over the years. Now, I'll admit, just now, I might have raised my voice a little bit, but you know how I am. I was just doing things by the book, and it was all for your own good. But things are different now. This project is a go. Chen Wenbin quickly replied, yes, sir. You're absolutely right about everything. He nodded along, saying it was just part of his job and no big deal. What else could he do? It's not like he could just lose his temper and start cussing out his own boss, right? But hey, the deal was finally moving forward. Chen Wenbin's heart was racing. This was a massive project with an initial investment of over 1 trillion. If the project officially launched and they could actually show some results, then he would definitely be looking at a massive promotion. He wondered who had been on the other end of that phone call. It had to be the military, right? So Future Tech really did have the military backing them up. Well, it made sense. On his way back, Chen Wenbin slowly started to connect the dots. Setting everything else aside, just that new material Future Tech had developed was absolutely insane. It was practically a miracle material. It could go deep into the ocean or up into space. It could even be used for cannon barrels or jet engine blades. It wasn't strange at all that they were linked to the military. Could it be that the military is the one pushing for this? The success rate must be incredibly high then. The more he thought about it, the more hyped he got. I'm really about to hit the big time. Meanwhile, after Wu Kui returned to the Navy headquarters, he didn't waste a second and immediately arranged a private jet to the imperial capital. Then, using his high-level status, he summoned almost all the top officials from both the military and the government. He presented the proposal for the Future Energy Cooperation Plan, along with the verification results and opinions from numerous experts. Very quickly, a heated debate broke out among the big shots. There were those who supported it, but naturally, there were also those who opposed it. The room turned into a complete chaotic mess, just like a noisy wet market. Very quickly, a heated debate broke out among the big shots. There were those who supported it, but naturally, there were also those who opposed it. The room turned into a complete chaotic mess, just like a noisy wet market. Seeing a scene like this play out among such powerful people was a truly rare sight. However, the military leaders were more united than ever, once they learned that controllable nuclear fusion technology was finally within reach. And that they could even start official testing very soon, they all showed an incredible amount of interest. And raised their hands in support, but the opinions and views of the pro-side leaders were all over the place, with opponents being in no short supply. The high-level meeting then devolved into a shouting match between both sides. I am a military officer. Not skilled with words, but this collaboration is imperative. I'm a civil official, but I'm staying out of this. I'm not expressing an opinion. I don't care about you civil or military officials. My opinion is that this is a huge waste of money and manpower. Moreover, this is clearly beyond the current era. With technological limitations, it's bound to be a complete waste of effort in the end. Since that's the case, why waste so much manpower, material, and financial resources? Do you really believe a high school student can come up with this kind of technology? Well, before the Gonggang 1 interview, who believed Lu Chuan could pull off Gonggang 1? Even just a single new material would be enough to upgrade all of our equipment. That's different. Different my ass. You don't know jack. You don't know anything. You military guys only know how to ask for money every year, and you throw a fit if you don't get enough. Do you have any idea how hard it is to earn money? For a project that's destined to fail, 200 billion is only 20% of the cost. Why don't you just go rob a bank? You're the ones who don't know jack. Dignity is only found on the edge of a sword. Truth only exists within the range of a cannon. It's easy for you to say. Where will the money come from? What, are you giving up this year's military budget? The argument between the two sides grew more and more intense, until spit was flying everywhere. The military leaders were practically rolling up their sleeves to fight. Finally, Wu Kui couldn't take it anymore. He slammed the table, sending spittle flying far. It's just about money, isn't it? If it comes to that. Military leaders were practically rolling up their sleeves to fight. Finally, Wu Kui couldn't take it anymore. He slammed the table, sending spittle flying far. It's just about money, isn't it? If it comes to that. The Navy will pay for it. You just give us our regular military funding. How we spend it is our business. But in that case, the shares of future energy will belong to us, the Navy. If there are dividends in the future, don't even think about getting a single cent. Don't be rash. Many of those who had remained neutral now spoke up to mediate. Old Wu, you've got such a short fuse. Let's discuss it a bit more. Think it over carefully before you speak. What the hell is there to think about? Wu Kui slammed the table noisily. What else is there to discuss? I've already thought it through. Arguing with you all is a complete waste of time. Settled. The opponents frowned. What you're doing isn't right. It's a waste of military funds. That's 200 billion. You're not even willing to risk a wasteful investment. And you still expect to have cutting-edge technology? You people are worse than a crude fellow like me. It's settled, then, some of the military leaders said, thinking about whether they could help share the burden, but Wu Kui angrily refused. After declaring that the Navy would go it alone, Wu Kui stormed out in a rage. The meeting ended on that sour note. On the plane ride back, Luo Wen looked a bit worried. Sir, are you sure about this? It might not look good. What if things go sideways? They just don't want to cough up the cash, Wu Kui chuckled. I'm only here to give them a heads up on what I'm doing. That way, no matter how it turns out later, they've been officially notified. Nobody can use that as an excuse to come after me. Besides, you think I actually want their money? To be honest, I have absolute confidence in this partnership. Once we succeed, our Navy won't ever have to worry about funding again. Right now, we have to go around begging for every cent. But once the project is a success, they'll be the ones begging to give us money. Whether we even take it will depend on our mood. Luo Wen gently pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses and went silent. Once the partnership is a success, they'll be the ones begging to give us money. Whether we take it or not will depend on our mood. Luo Wen adjusted his glasses again. He didn't say another word. The logic was sound, sure, but he couldn't help but force a bitter smile inside. But if this fails in the end, not even a veteran like you could carry the weight of that failure. Still, seeing Wu Kui so full of confidence, he didn't want to rain on his parade. He could only harbor his worries in silence. Next morning, as soon as Lu Chuan arrived at the office, Wu Kui arrived with his team and the contracts. He looked absolutely radiant. Wu Kui was beaming with joy. Even in his early 70s, he was full of vigor. It was as if he'd aged backward 15 years overnight. Chuan, I've brought all the contracts. They have the official military and government seals. Everything is ironclad. It's a go? That's fantastic. Lu Chuan was thrilled. But ironclad only meant things were fine for now. There was no telling what would happen later, especially if Wu Kui was no longer around. Who knows what kind of monsters would come crawling out then? He had to keep some trump cards. These cards weren't just the secret formulas or the rare elements. He needed the ability to turn the tide even in a desperate situation, or at the very least, the power to protect himself. He had to ensure the safety of the people he cared about, and he already had a plan in mind. Once the controllable nuclear fusion technology was ready, he could get to work. There was still time. Judging by Wu Kui's current health, everything should be fine, as long as no accidents happened. Let's sign the contract, Wu Kui urged, sounding even more impatient than Lu Chuan. He couldn't help it. The Navy had been suppressed for way too long. Although the major fleet was already nearing its launch phase, it still wasn't enough. Without aircraft carriers, you don't have a real voice. Without nuclear-powered carriers, we'll always be a step behind. But if we can build carriers powered by nuclear fusion, I'll see who still dares to mouth off to me. Without nuclear power, we're always missing that edge. But if we get these fusion-powered carriers going, I'll see who dares to talk trash then. Who would dare challenge our navy then? We won't go out looking for trouble. But we must have the strength to handle any provocation, no matter who the opponent is. We need the power to strike back with lightning force and make the other side call us their daddy. No rush, this is a four-party partnership. The others should be here soon. Lu Chuan signaled him to relax. Besides your father-in-law, who else is coming? Ah Fu and young Wang. Wu Kui realized. Wang is a good guy. He comes from a military background. As for his wife, well, I don't have a problem with it. It's better if we sign after they get here. Lu Chuan raised an eyebrow. It seems old Wang's background is quite extraordinary. But that makes sense. Without that kind of background, after Gonggang 1 was released, things probably wouldn't have been this quiet. After all, the ones interested in this technology aren't just people in powers from overseas. And a lot of the time, the people on the inside are the most troublesome and hardest to deal with. Yet I haven't encountered a single one. Clearly, old Wang from Huafu has a lot of pull. As for my own father-in-law, he doesn't have much of a background. He's a self-made man. He might be able to block some trouble, but certainly not much. But this time is different. We have the Navy joining in and taking charge. There shouldn't be any major problems. A little over 10 minutes later, Yin Tianqi and Old Wang rushed over, both filled with anticipation and excitement. At first, Old Wang wanted to get a little more information about what the project was actually for. But when he saw Wu Kui was there too, he was completely stunned. When he found out the Navy was going to invest 200 billion on their own for a 20% stake, he was even more dumbfounded. Why even ask what the project was? What the hell is there to ask? Just sign the papers and transfer the money, done deal. It was only after the contract was signed that Lu Chuan told them about the project. Old Wang was like, holy crap. Controllable nuclear fusion energy. It was only after the contract was signed that Lu Chuan told them about the project. Old Wang was like, holy crap. Controllable nuclear fusion energy. So, can I still back out now? Of course, he was just kidding. Although he was shocked, with Wu Kui and the Navy on board, Old Wang still held onto a sliver of hope that it might just work. Then, Lu Chuan took out the procurement list. He handed copies to Old Wang and Yin Tianqi. Uncle Ying, Uncle Wang. We're all on the same team, so I'll be direct. Future technology has pretty much offended every foreign company out there. If we try to import things under the name Future Energy, we're sure to face a lot of obstruction. It's too much of a hassle. We don't have time, and frankly, I can't be bothered to wrangle with them. So, I'd like to ask you too, to procure these materials under the names of the Huafu Group and Yin Tianqi Financial. Then, Future Energy will purchase them from you at cost. Next up is the Quantum Collider. We need 10 units of the most advanced model, and we need them fast. And one more thing, before the other party delivers the goods, not a single word about this can get out. We can't let any of those foreign companies know that these are for Future Energy. The two of them nodded immediately. No problem, that's a piece of cake, as long as there's no official ban. As for what comes after, Old Wang sighed lightly. What you did before, I have to say, I was all for it. But at the same time, you've pretty much made an enemy of every single foreign company. And even every other country out there. Once they start getting serious about it, I'm afraid it's going to be impossible for future technology to make any move. That day was bound to come. Lu Chuan was already prepared for this. He smiled and said, but as long as we're strong enough, everything else will fall into place. I believe that very soon, their products will no longer be essential to us. Perhaps in just 3 to 5 years, they'll be crying and begging to give us their most advanced technology. We might not even want to take it, because we'll look down on it. Well said, Slam's table. I just love that wild streak of yours, kid. If you're not wild when you're young, you're wasting your youth. Being wild is the right way to be. That's right, we have to make ourselves completely out of their league. Well said, Slam's table. I just love that wild streak of yours, kid. If you're not wild when you're young, you're wasting your youth. Being wild is the right way to be. That's right, we have to make ourselves completely out of their league. The contracts are already signed, and the money will be transferred in installments. Now, there's one more thing that needs to be arranged as soon as possible. Otherwise, once this goes public, it'll be too late. He instructed Lu Chuan, his expression gradually turning serious. Old Wu. Lu Chuan gently stroked his chin, confused and still not understanding. Wu Kui shook his head and sighed softly. It's about your safety. Right now, your safety is the absolute top priority. Do you understand? Otherwise, once the controllable nuclear fusion technology is out, there's no way we can keep it a secret. We might be able to lock down the technology, but it's impossible to block all information. After the news leaks, you will become a public target. Every country, every power, will want to get their hands on you. And if they can't, they will destroy you. Yin Tianqi took over the conversation. His face turned pale. He had only been focused on his shock before. I really didn't think of that. Indeed, old Wang nodded heavily. The darkness in the real world is far more terrifying than you can imagine. Even what's described in novels is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not just about hostile countries and forces. Even neutral countries, and especially those countries and powers that rely on energy resources, will not be able to sit still, because the emergence of controllable nuclear fusion will almost instantly knock them from heaven down to hell. No, I should say, there isn't a single country that wouldn't want to get controllable nuclear fusion technology. At the same time, those powerful nations would never want to see us rise. And you will become a thorn in all of their sides. If they can take you back to work for them, that's ideal. But if they can't, then they'll have no choice. Old Wang made a throat-slitting gesture. Your safety must be guaranteed. Right, Wu Kui continued, and it has to be the highest level of security. We'll arrange for 2 squads to come over, working in 20-hour shifts, to provide close quarters protection for your safety. At the same time, a battalion of personnel will be arranged in the surrounding area. They will set up a defensive perimeter centered on you. We'll arrange for 2 squads to come over, working in 20-hour shifts to provide close quarters protection for your safety. At the same time, a battalion of personnel will be arranged in the surrounding area to set up a defensive perimeter centered on you. Of course, they won't appear on a daily basis, and you won't even notice their existence. Lu Chuan was a little surprised. Is it that exaggerated? This highest level of security seems a bit much. It's just that the 24-hour close protection is a bit overboard, right? Lu Chuan scratched his head. The 24-hour close protection, we don't need that, do we? It would be really inconvenient. I know what you mean. Wu Kui, however, was calmly sipping his tea, indicating that everything was under control. Don't worry. Female soldiers hold up half the sky. We have female soldiers. Lu Chuan, you've completely misunderstood what I meant. Alright, but, Sai, looks like I can't refuse, can I? Also, starting now, you're officially registered with our Navy's expert group. You'll receive benefits at the battalion commander level. Once the controllable nuclear fusion technology is successfully developed, what you'll receive will be chief-level benefits, Wu Kui added. And it's not just you. Wu Kui finished outlining the arrangements for Lu Chuan, without giving him any time or chance to object, and added, your parents' safety also needs to be ensured, including your future father-in-law. Me? It shouldn't be that serious, right? Even though it's possible someone might target me, I already have bodyguards. If I'm just a little more careful day to day, that should be enough. Besides, this will probably be made public later anyway. We only have the right to investment dividends, right? We don't have any other powers. So what's the issue? But Wu Kui showed no intention of yielding. That won't stop people from trying to grab you. First, we will arrange for you 2 squads of men for protection. Second, you will move into the grand compound. The compound has everything you need, and it's comparatively much safer. My personal recommendation is that you move in. It's safer there. I'm not going. Yin Tianqi quickly declared. Elder Wu, I'll have to trouble you to arrange some men to protect me. After all, I have over 1,000 people to support. It's safer there. I'm not going. Yin Tianqi quickly declared. Elder Wu, please, arrange some men to protect me. After all, I have over 1,000 people to support. Moving into the compound, even though it has everything, it's just not practical. Alright, then what about your parents? I'll ask them later. Lu Chuan didn't decide for his parents. Matter like this is directly related to the rest of their lives. Of course they have to decide for themselves. And Lu Chuan wasn't against this idea. The issue of security was, after all, critically important. If he already had the ability to protect himself and those around him, then he wouldn't need to be concerned. But for now, he still had to rely on them. What if a country or some other power couldn't resist making a move and decided to take a huge risk? One must plan ahead. Alright, just contact me after you've made your decision. As for the personnel, they will be in place in 2 days at the latest. Alright, I'll be heading back then. Take care, Elder Wu. Not long after Wu Kui left, Old Wang and Yin Tianqi departed as well. Lu Chuan then called his dad. His folks were out playing mahjong. They had been just an ordinary family before, and hadn't really enjoyed much in their lives. Now that their son was worth tens of billions, they didn't insist on having to keep working. Instead, they began to gradually embrace the lifestyle of the wealthy and slowly started to enjoy themselves. Playing a little mahjong, eating some delicious food, things like that. This had already become a regular part of their lives. But they always played for small stakes. For 3 or 5 yuan a game, that sort of thing. They absolutely refused to actually gamble. When Lu Chuan explained the situation, his parents both grew a little worried. After careful consideration, they decided to move into the grand compound after all. Inside the compound, unless some major world power completely lost its mind and was willing to go after them at any cost, it was basically impossible for anything to happen. With that settled, Lu Chuan could finally relax. At the same time, he began to set up the future energy venture. Meanwhile, Wu Kui hurried back to Navy headquarters. In the highest level, top secret conference room, he found that the experts were arguing again. It was noisy, and he had no idea what they were arguing about. Meanwhile, when Wu Kui hurriedly returned to the highest level, top secret conference room at Naval headquarters, he found the experts arguing noisily again. He had no idea what they were arguing about. He quickly announced that his collaboration was a success, and that the Chuan element would be secured soon. The moment the experts heard this, they immediately became ecstatic. Chuan element, Lu Chuan, that's an element named after himself, right? He's truly incredible. The new generation surpasses the old. We, the old generation, are probably about to be left in the dust. You can say that again. Although we don't know yet if the Chuan element can actually be synthesized. If it can, then based on our current theories, his controllable nuclear fusion technology is actually viable. Even without the Chuan element, this data is incredibly enlightening for us. It could save us many years of detours. It's really hard to imagine how a 21-year-old kid who never went to college could be this brilliant. He couldn't have secretly evolved without including the rest of us, could he? Their comments grew more and more absurd. Wu Kui's mouth twitched. Although he also thought Lu Chuan was a freak of nature, this talk of secret evolution was a bit too ridiculous. He paused thoughtfully and then raised his own question. Experts, I have a question. If the Chuan element is successfully synthesized and has the same properties as described in the data, then the controllable nuclear fusion technology, what I mean is, how long would it take to build and utilize the reactor? After its success, our nuclear-powered aircraft carrier's energy problem should be non-existent, right? The experts suddenly fell silent. Many of their faces twitched. Some had twitching lips, and others just rolled their eyes. Old Wu, are you serious? You're our superior, but I still have to ask, do you even know what nuclear fusion is? Once it's successful, the aircraft carrier's energy problem? If it's successful, forget about sailing it in the sea, you could make it fly. It could fly for 3 to 5 years without ever worrying about a lack of energy. No need for recharging. Are you kidding me? Forget about sailing it in the sea, you could make it fly. It could fly for 3 to 5 years without ever worrying about a lack of energy. No need for recharging. Are you kidding me? We've achieved controllable nuclear fusion, and you're still worried about energy? As long as controllable nuclear fusion is achieved, unless technology advances by several eras, and some special equipment becomes a super energy guzzling beast, otherwise we will never have to worry about energy problems again. They were still mocking you, old Wu. Normally, you wouldn't ask such a foolish question. Besides, you dared to use 200 billion in military funds for this collaboration. You can't possibly be unaware of the importance of nuclear fusion. After all, that 200 billion was meant for the aircraft carriers. To dare to touch that money. And now you're telling me you don't have a clear concept of what nuclear fusion is? The speaker may have been careless, but the listener took it to heart. Even though he was being teased, Wu Kui wasn't the least bit upset. On the contrary, he was delighted and especially thrilled. He was happy just hearing how powerful nuclear fusion was. And then, he suddenly had a brilliant idea. Hey guys, he said, what if we could even make an aircraft carrier fly? We wouldn't even have to worry about running out of power. Yeah, obviously, the experts replied casually. Isn't that a given? Did you really think nuclear fusion was some kind of joke? Wu Kui suddenly said, is there a chance, and I'm just spitballing here, that we just scrap our previous aircraft carrier plans? Whoa, that's really jumping straight to the endgame. What I mean is, a sky carrier. All the experts were stunned. A sky carrier? Are you serious? That's not just jumping to the endgame. That's skipping straight to the finish line. But you know what? No, seriously. I'm getting all excited just thinking about it. It actually seems feasible. The biggest problem was always the power source. Once the power issue is solved, and since nuclear fusion is basically clean energy, even if the thrusters aren't great, and the conversion rate is low, with a nearly limitless power supply, that problem doesn't really seem like a problem anymore. No, there's still an issue. The thruster materials. The material isn't the problem. That thing Lu Chuan came up with. That problem doesn't seem like a problem either. No, there's still an issue. The thruster materials. The material isn't an issue. The one Lu Chuan developed. That new material is insane. I reckon even if it's flying, with the strength of that material, flying non-stop for at least 3 to 5 months would be no problem at all. The key is, it's not even expensive. If we really manage to build a sky carrier, replacing the related thruster components every 3 to 5 months would be acceptable, right? At this point in the conversation, the experts started pulling out their sketch pads. Holy cow, this actually seems feasible. I have to admit it. The more the experts talked, the more excited they became. Even the expert who was originally in charge of designing the aircraft carrier had already grabbed some sketch paper and started a new design. Who cares if it'll work or not? We're just sitting around twiddling our thumbs anyway. The waiting is torture. We might as well get started on this. And what if it actually works? And so, they got busy. Meanwhile, Lu Chuan wasn't idle either. The next day, 2 personal security squads arrived to report for duty. Each squad had 6 people, all of them young female soldiers. But their professional skills were top-notch. They weren't glamorous or stunning like movie stars or internet celebrities. But they were still quite striking. With just a little makeup. They were easily an 8 out of 10. True heroines who were every bit as capable as men. Their demeanor was especially unique, full of a heroic spirit. "Sir, we're reporting for duty as ordered." They saluted Lu Chuan. Their voices were in perfect unison. Lu Chuan scratched his head. "I'm not a, sir." "Reporting, sir. We are under orders to protect you. You are the asset, which makes you our, sir." "Alright then. What are your names?" "Reporting, I am Squad 1's leader, Long Kai. And I am Squad 2's leader, Ma Xiaoling." After the brief self-introductions, Lu Chuan considered for a moment, then said, "Starting today, you'll all wear plain clothes. Wearing a military uniform is too conspicuous. That's my second point, Chief. Don't call me Chief. I'm not used to it. How about Mr. Lu? Her official identity is my personal assistant." "Yes, Mr. Lu." And so, from that moment on, Lu Chuan and Yin Rushu had 6 people with them at all times. "Your official identity is my personal assistant." "Yes, Mr. Lu." And so, from that moment on, Lu Chuan and Yin Rushu had 6 people with them at all times. 2 shifts took turns providing close protection, reaching a truly meticulous level of care. They would follow him wherever he went, helping him drive while also handling security. Even when he went to the restroom, 2 of them would wait outside the door. When he slept, 2 people had to stand guard at his door, while the other 2 rested in the rooms on either side. And they would wait to take their turn on guard duty, changing shifts once a day. It made Lu Chuan feel quite awkward, though he did feel completely safe. Besides, these elite female soldiers were also quite pleasing to the eye. The thought of people always standing right outside the door meant he had to be a bit quieter when, you know. But soon enough, he gradually got used to it. In the next 7 days, just 7 days, all the materials and equipment needed to synthesize the transuranic element had arrived. After all, in this world, most things can be solved with money, and any problem that can be solved by throwing money at it isn't really a problem. Building a laboratory would be too slow, so they bought one outright for a hefty price. Some materials and equipment needed to be imported, so they just threw money at the problem. If brand new ones weren't enough, they bought secondhand. "I'll even give you a price 10 to 20% higher than a new one. Are you selling or not? If not, I'll go to someone else. If no one's selling, then just add more money. As long as it's not too outrageous. Just buy it." And so, inside the Future Energy First Physics Laboratory, 10 quantum colliders were arranged in a circle, and the main door was locked tight. Outside the door, Secretary Zhang and the 2 close protection shifts stood guard. Inside the vast laboratory, there was only Lu Chuan and Yin Rushu. "Why don't you wait for me outside?" Lu Chuan said, looking at Yin Rushu. "This is going to take a long time. There's a certain degree of danger." "No, I'm staying with you." But Yin Rushu smiled and shook her head. "Don't worry, I won't disturb you. At least when you get tired. And there's a certain degree of danger." "No, I'm staying with you." But Yin Rushu smiled and shook her head. "Don't worry, I won't disturb you. At least when you get tired. I can give you a shoulder rub, massage your feet, and wipe your sweat. Right? As for the danger, I'm not afraid. Wherever you are is where I'll be." Lu Chuan smiled dotingly. He pulled her into his arms and gave her a passionate kiss. Then he said, "Well, you'd better be prepared. I might have to neglect you for a while. Because what I'm about to do requires my undivided attention. There's no room for the slightest mistake." "Of course not. Just watching you is enough to make me happy. Haven't you heard that saying? Focused man is the most attractive." Afterwards, Lu Chuan got out a military ration pack. Half an hour later, the work began. First, the 10 quantum colliders had to be connected together so they could operate in sync. Lu Chuan began to operate, disassembling the parts that needed to be taken apart. He completed the necessary modifications, connecting parts in series and parallel, step by step. Based on the knowledge he currently possessed, he actually knew a more advanced method to build a quantum collider. And related technologies, if he were to build it. A single quantum collider would be enough. But it was too troublesome and too slow. There were many technical challenges to overcome and a lot of work to be done. If he had to do everything himself, it would take at least twice as long. Besides that, there was the current method, connecting 10 of Mo Landstar's most advanced quantum colliders in series. Once activated, it could also reach the threshold to synthesize the trans element. He worked so hard he lost all track of day and night. Lu Chuan was giving it his all. Normally, he was all smiles and laughter, very laid back. When he had free time, he loved to hug Yin Ruchu or find something fun to do. Yin Ruchu also let him spoil her, allowing him to try whatever he wanted. But now that it was time to be fully focused and put in the effort, Lu Chuan didn't slack off in the slightest. He worked until he lost track of day and night, until the world seemed to dim, so busy he didn't know what day it was. But now that it was time to be fully focused and put in the effort, Lu Chuan didn't slack off in the slightest. He worked until he lost track of day and night, until the world seemed to dim, so busy he didn't know what day it was. Meanwhile, the Department of Education was in a complete mess. The Department of Education was in a bit of a panic. The leaders gathered together. You look at me, and I look at you. For a long time, no one spoke. What should we do? Say something. The director rolled his eyes. I called you all here to come up with a solution. Not for you to sit here being an eyesore. What are we going to do about Lu Chuan's score? The leaders of the various education departments lowered their heads, trying to look inconspicuous. They stayed silent. You're asking us? Who are we supposed to ask? It was a difficult subject to bring up. And there had never been a similar precedent. Who would know what to do? Who could possibly get perfect scores multiple times in a row? Lu Chuan did, especially with the existence of Gong1, which made almost the entire nation watch his every move. Everyone was guessing what score Lu Chuan would get this time. 752 points? 762 points? Everyone was guessing what score Lu Chuan would get this time. 751 points? 752 points? 752 points? 762 points? 751 points? Although the current rumor is 751 points, 752 points, almost 99% of people think Lu Chuan can only get 748 points. Almost 99% of people thought Lu Chuan could only get 748 points, but the amount of attention on him was still sky high. Especially since the college entrance exam scores were going to be announced in 2 days. Under normal circumstances, this wouldn't be a problem. The score is what it is. Even if a situation like last year happened again, that would be fine. But the problem is, damn it, the score we have on hand right now is just not right. The comprehensive science exam is worth 300 points. Currently, Lu Chuan's score is 0. It's not that Lu Chuan didn't answer a single question correctly. It's that his answer sheet isn't even with us. What are we supposed to do about this? We can't just give him a 0, right? Knowing Lu Chuan's personality, he would definitely throw a fit. And while we're not afraid of Lu Chuan, if this gets messy, it will affect the reputation of our Department of Education. But not giving him a perfect score? That doesn't feel right either. This is too ridiculous. How is this even possible? To give him a perfect score without even looking at his answer sheet. Are you kidding me? How about 298 points? A moment later, someone made this suggestion, but the director, after a brief thought, just give him a perfect score? Are you kidding me? How about 298 points? A moment later, someone made that suggestion, but the director, after a moment of thought, still felt it wasn't appropriate. Based on Lu Chuan's previous performance and his scores in the other 3 subjects on this exam, 298 points should be fine. But this is the college entrance exam. We can't just decide someone's score based on the word should. Especially with the whole nation watching. What if Lu Chuan insists he got a perfect score, and asks us to show his answer sheet for everyone to see and grade together? What then? That won't work either. Then what do you suggest we do? What a headache. Everyone was speechless, but the director actually came up with an idea. How about this? Let's send 2 people to make the trip. Get the answer sheet back. If you can't get it back, then verify the answers on the spot. If that really doesn't work, ask them what score he deserves. Now that's actually an idea. But who's going to go? I'm not going, anyway. Everyone looked down. Unfortunately, there are always 2 unlucky souls. A man and a woman, Zhou Shenyan and Lei Jun. Both over 50 years old, they became the unlucky ones. They begrudgingly rushed to Shencheng overnight, standing outside the main gate of the naval headquarters. Both of them were trembling a little. Old Lei, you go talk to them. Why don't you go? Ladies first, right? Before long, the news was reported back to the conference room. When Wu Kui heard it, he looked at the experts. The people from the education department want to take the answer sheet back. Instantly, everyone was in an uproar. No, that's impossible. Are they joking? This is absurd. Do they have any idea what level of classified information this is? No, it's not just classified. This is top secret. We absolutely cannot let them take it. Well, we can't just give Lu Chuan a 0, can we? Wu Kui was speechless. How about this? Aren't you all experts? Surely you're capable of solving college entrance exam problems. I'll have them prepare and send over a copy of the test. You all can grade the answers. Then give the score to them. The experts agreed. And so, a group of national-level experts began working on the exam questions. I'll have them prepare and send over a copy of the test. You grade the answers, and then send the score over to them. The experts agreed. Then, the group of national-level experts started working on the college entrance exam questions. Every one of them found it quite novel. Heck, it's making my own hands itch to give it a try. Maybe I should take the college entrance exam next year. What for? To get crushed by Lu Chuan? We're done. Excluding the extension problem, it's 298 points. But for the physics extension problem, we unanimously agree he should get full marks for it. So that's 299 points. 299 points? Wu Kui nodded lightly. The biology extension problem? I discussed it with my wife. She thinks the answer is excellent. Luo Wen, you go. Give our reply to the people from the education department. Lu Chuan's comprehensive science score is perfect. A perfect score, a perfect score. After Zhou Shenyan and his colleague got the response, their heads were spinning. A perfect score. The words, perfect score, echoed in their minds all the way back. Neither of them had really processed it yet. How is this possible? Did I mishear them? But there's no way we both heard it wrong. They definitely said, perfect score. But those two bonus questions. Back at the Department of Education. When they reported the military's response, the head of the department trembled all over. My scalp went numb. Is that really what they said? Are you sure you heard them correctly? If you did, then this is just bizarre. But how could anyone get a perfect score on those two bonus questions? What on earth is going on here? After a commotion, the director of the Department of Education, suppressing his shock, said, the answer sheet. They won't give it to us. They won't even let us take a single look at it. They also said it's top secret, Zhou Shenyan said with a bitter smile. We never even saw the answer sheet. They just asked us for a digital copy of the exam paper. Then, apparently, their own internal experts did the problems and compared them to the answers on the sheet. And in the end, they confirmed it was a perfect score. The director was floored. This is so messed up. How the hell am I supposed to explain this to the public? Another commotion erupted. Everyone turned to look at him. The director was losing his mind. This is seriously, royally screwed up. How am I supposed to explain this to the public? Another commotion broke out. Everyone looked at him. Director, what do we do? Yeah, director, the current situation is a bit. What do you think we should do? Director, just give the order. We'll do whatever you say. Damn it, the director wanted to curse them all out. You're all a bunch of sly old foxes, so stop playing games with me. You, every single one of you is craftier than a monkey. Do you think I'm an idiot? You want me to tell you what to do at a time like this? If I really did that, and some trouble came up later, wouldn't I be the one taking the fall? Do you take me for a fool? Look, I called everyone here so we could discuss this together. What do you mean, we'll do whatever you say? That's not how this works. Let's just come to a decision together. However, my opinion is, the best option is to just go with what the military said, a perfect score. Time passed. Finally, the day for the college entrance exam scores to be released arrived. Countless students, parents, and netizens were watching. Even a lot of gamblers were paying close attention. It's just that, right now, more than half of these gamblers wanted to cry, some were even thinking of heading to a rooftop. In a group chat for gamblers, the members were feeling awful. Hey, the scores are about to be released. I'm already on the rooftop of the 18th floor. The view is pretty nice. It's just that the wind is a bit strong, and it's a little cold. The 18th floor isn't that high, you know. I'm on the 52nd floor. Are you guys serious? I'm on the 3rd floor, because my family's self-built house is only 3 stories high. Damn it, I bet 30 million on Lu Chuan getting a perfect score, but then they come up with these ridiculous questions this year. IFC King wish I had the 30 million yen of the guy upstairs. But a small portion of the gamblers were overjoyed. Serves you right for being so naive. You think a perfect score is that easy to get? Even though he's gotten it 3 times in a row, and before that, he even created the GONG1. He became a billionaire overnight. But the people from the relevant departments, it's impossible for them to let him keep a perfect score, so from the very beginning I warned everyone not to bet on a perfect score. But you all didn't believe me. That's right, you weren't thinking straight. The people in the relevant departments, there's no way they'd let him keep a perfect score. That's why from the start I told everyone not to bet on a perfect score, but you wouldn't listen. That's right, you weren't thinking straight. You can't blame anyone else. As we were talking, I bet he wouldn't get many points. The netizens were also watching the scores. He didn't get many points. Finally, the time came. Besides the students checking their own scores, almost everyone else was looking at the leaderboards the moment they came out. And then, holy crap, a perfect score? Are you serious? What the hell is wrong with me? I feel like I'm in a dream. A dream within a dream. To actually dream that Lu Chuan got a perfect score. Phew, dear, quick, slap me, I must be dreaming. The netizens' sanity slowly returned. A perfect score? That's impossible. In any other year's college entrance exam, if someone got a perfect score, I could believe it. But this year, there's no damn way I believe it. Do you people have any idea what cancer is? Do you know what new energy is? It's not just about slapping a battery on something and calling it new energy. At the very least, you'd have to solve the pollution from nuclear fission, or even figure out controlled nuclear fusion. And someone got a perfect score on that? You think I'm going to believe that? Well, I don't. This score has absolutely zero credibility. I might get a cease and desist letter for this, but I'm still going to say it. It's a fix. No one could have gotten a perfect score on this exam. No one. Soon, the incident blew up. Originally, quite a few people were paying attention to this. But it was still within a reasonable range. But now, it's like a level 18 typhoon. It instantly swept across the entire internet. Even the real world was completely overwhelmed. Except for some remote, sparsely populated mountain areas with few young people. It was the topic of conversation almost everywhere. This is just too insane. Except for the places with few young people. It was the topic of conversation almost everywhere. This is just too insane. It's even more shocking than when everyone was stunned by this year's exam questions. The idea of treating cancer and nuclear fusion was already stunning. Having questions like that would certainly surprise anyone. But damn it, compared to someone actually getting a perfect score, the shock of the questions themselves is nothing. A perfect score on cancer and controlled nuclear fusion. Do you believe it? Because I sure don't. Almost everyone said they didn't believe it. Even the few netizens who still supported Lu Chuan were now trembling in fear, not daring to make a sound. The more educated a person was, the more absurd they found it, and the less they believed it. Because it's fundamentally impossible. Immediately, accusations of foul play, fraud, and the education department messing up. That Lu Chuan has powerful connections, that they've thrown all shame away. All sorts of comments like these started creating a racket. People were saying all kinds of things. It's just that no one was willing to believe it was real.